chocolate and antioxidants.
I will say this candy is my favorite candy.
Just Reese's Cups in general.
Reese's Cups. If I'm at like a CVS and I want some candy, I always get a Reese's Cups.
Loser.
They're delicious.
They are delicious.
They are. Maybe they could sponsor us.
Yeah.
Not me. Traditional Reese's Cups I hate.
What are your thoughts on Oreos?
Delicious.
Love them.
Okay.
How do you not like Oreos?
No,
Yeah,
I love
seriously.
no.
Everybody
I
loves
fucking love
Oreos.
Oreos. Next follow-up question. What are your thoughts on Fruity Pebbles?
Boo.
Yeah. What? Maybe like the 8-year-old me would have really liked Fruity Pebbles.
I didn't even like them when I was a kid. I was all about those Rice Krispie treats. Oh, and
Rice
cinnamon
Krispie
toast
treats or Rice Krispies?
No, Rice Krispies, the plain one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
Those are kind of
Fruity Pebbles
No, I was
are
all
still
about
one of my
bland.
favorite cereals.
I should have
Because
bowl.
if they get soggy, then they like mesh, and then it's just like a fruity deliciousness.
like
But I asked those two questions one after the other.
Why?
Oreo just came out with Fruity Crisp Oreo. It basically tastes like Fruity Pebbles in an Oreo. It is the best.
What's the
that
Jeff
makes me
Goldblum line
sad.
from Jurassic Park? Science shouldn't.
Oh yeah, your scientists were too focused on seeing if they could rather than if they
If they
should.
should.
That's right. That's what I'm thinking of.
We should send that official commentary to Nabisco, makers of Oreo.
I'll say this though: when it comes to Oreos, go Orioles! When it comes to Oreos or anything chocolate, I need milk.
Me too.
There's nothing better
the most part.
than eating a good. It's their milk's favorite cookie. But the
Right.
joy
Budweiser's
letting-
the king of beer. Oreos is milk's favorite cookie.
but letting an Oreo sit in your milk until it starts to dissolve, and then you drink your milk, and then at the very
Ooh, I
bottom
don't
is
do
this
that.
delicious mixture.
No, my favorite
psycho
thing to do, I spear my Oreos on my fork.
Psycho.
Like I spear them on the fork,
What?
and then you drown them because you wait for the bubbles to
once
start
again,
coming
these
up.
words
Like
like
you just
drowning.
drown them in the milk, and then once the bubbles stop, you're like, good, he's dead. And then you
He
eat them.
stopped moving.
I just let mine sit in the milk until it sinks.
like a vat
then
of
I know
acid
it's good.
that
And then it's
dissolves.
just like,
Soggy.
no,
Yeah.
it's not. It's
I used
not.
to go into like the room where I played video games when I was growing up with not like a couple Oreos, with the box of Oreos, you know? We work up that God, Zach's got to be like really fat.
It's
So-
a miracle we don't all have diabetes.
Yeah, and I used to get that in a glass of milk and be like, I'm going to eat as much as I can.
So
And I would. I'd eat
That's
like
the
12.
goal.
And I'd be like, well, that's good.
a couple weeks ago I was at one of my buddies' bachelor parties. We were out on the lake, had a lake house and all that stuff, just chilling.
Bachelor-esque.
Somebody brought 2 packs of Oreos. That's actually where I was introduced to the Fruity Crisp Oreos. They had those and the peanut butter chocolate flavored Oreos,
Gross.
which were
Well, that might
also
not be bad.
quite damn delicious.
Yeah.
And I was a little drunk,
Just ate them all.
just a little bit, and I
Maybe that's why you thought they tasted good.
no, I bought another pack so Sam could try them, and she did not like them, but I
Of
still
course
loved
not, because she's sane.
them. But I legitimately think I ate like between the 2 packs like 20 Oreos. In
Oh
the
my
night.
God.
Jeez.
I would
That's
die.
a lot.
Because I was
a record.
I was drunk. I had some munchies, and I was all
You should
about
write
just
Guinness.
like I was. Oh my god, they
Sounds
were so
great.
good.
No, it
they were
sounds
so
great.
good. They were so good. All right, let's get to the show on the road. What's up, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Team Chat Podcast. I am one of your hosts, Jerrett Wilson, joined to my right by Rachel Mogan,
Buongiorno.
and to my left, Zachary Parks.
What's happening?
So I just wanted to. I'm trying to go off my new script thing, and I
can see
already
this.
messed it up.
Sure
So
did.
because I forgot to pull it up before I got going. So if
forgot?
this is your first time listening to Team Chat Podcast, this is a podcast based around video games where we will share top 3 lists, general discussion, debates, and reviews on the games we love. Remember, if you have any questions or comments, you can email us at teamchatpodcast@gmail.com or find us on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. Also, if you would like to help support this podcast, please check out our Patreon page where you can do just that. In exchange for your support, we offer cool perks like getting each episode early before its Tuesday release. If not, that's totally cool. We love making this podcast and we love that each of you listen to it, and we'll keep giving you great content each and every week. If you would like to check that out, head over to patreon.com/Team Chat Podcast.
Boom.
Wow, yes, well done.
Nice.
I should have done that a long ass
Yeah,
time
I
ago.
know, it's funny. What is this, episode 30?
29. And I finally
Never
actually like
bothered to write it down.
wrote down an intro script. When we first started and we were doing like
didn't know
episode
what we were
1.
doing.
I didn't know what we were doing.
No.
I mean, we had an idea,
Well, sure.
but you know, we had
Theory.
to like kind of like build up to it. And now I feel like we're finally in our flow of like having our set set style of episodes and all that stuff.
Yeah,
and
it's
you know,
taken a while.
the what's up everybody, this is, and then on my right and on my left,
Right.
like that's been since day one.
That's been set in stone.
That's been day one.
If you ever switch the order and on my left is Zach, I would. I'm not sure.
You wouldn't know how to do it.
I
It's
wouldn't
just
make it.
explosion of the mind.
You'd
I would
speak
probably
backwards
still
the
say
whole
what's
episode.
up, but it wouldn't be Zach. And I'd be like, yeah, that's me.
Yeah, we should do that. Trick new listeners.
Just throw her off
yeah.
and throw off the listener base.
Yeah.
Can I be Jarrett? I want to be Jarrett.
I want to be
Banks.
Fender.
Oh, that's a good one. I want
Just
to be
silent
Henry
the whole time.
Just
Randomly scratch yourself.
Yeah. Woof.
Fender doesn't bark much though.
He doesn't unless it's
when
unless
Dylan
he
came
feels
over.
like when Dylan came over he was not happy
Wilding out.
because I don't know, it just depends on the person. Sometimes he freaks out. I think
And
it also
people
depends
that
on his level of
Are
excitement of the
listening
day.
to the podcast. Do we have a picture of Fender?
We'll put one
Never
up.
seen a dog quite like Fender. I'll
I've
say
tweeted
that.
one of Fender.
I think you
And I
have.
was
You
like,
did.
oh, it's our producer, Fender.
Our producer. Oh, look, he just turned around.
I was like, excuse me,
You guys
what?
are talking about me.
Producer.
Oh, and he
All
heads
right.
out the door.
Get
He's
back
not
to
having
work.
any of this.
It was a promotion. You ungrateful dog.
He's done.
He's going to go mess with the cat probably.
Yeah.
All right. But so today, for this 29th episode of Teen Chat Podcast,
boy.
we are going to talk about obscure games. Now, caveat to this.
Yeah,
These are
please.
games that are obscure to us. Mainly, we don't know really anybody else who played them.
Right.
And so if you've heard of this game, you're like, that's not obscure. Well, sorry.
Shut up.
You know,
Fast forward.
it's not like we went through a list of obscure games on the internet and we're like, those games are the
That's
ones
not a
we're gonna
bad
talk-
idea.
We
be
should have
fair-
done that.
Yeah, we actually
Damn it.
should have done that.
To be fair, one of mine did make a list like that.
Oh,
'cause
really?
I was
Did you
like,
check- you
I
checked the
just want to
list?
see. See if any of mine made it onto a list, and at least one did.
Well, part of why I didn't check a list like that is because if I had to go to a list to look at it, then I wouldn't know. Then I wouldn't have had played the game and be able to have any kind of reference point to it. So that's I don't know.
Yeah, I just would have been worried when I would gone to the list that I haven't played any of the games.
Yeah.
And then
Oh no, the
then
majority of I think it was like a list of 15 or 20 that I was
Didn't play
looking at.
any of them?
The vast majority I'd never even heard of.
even heard
and
of.
they were all fairly old. So to be fair, most of these were from late 90s, early 2000s.
Well,
So if
Okay,
we had done
that's
that,
an old
we would,
game
if,
list.
if we would have done that,
Yeah.
then we would have basically just been reading a list and had no more commentary other than
Well,
that.
while I'm saying I would have looked at the list and just seen if
Yeah,
I
I just
played
wanted
one.
to
Oh,
see.
there it goes.
Yeah,
Because
that's
I was
true.
They
like,
say it's
these
obscure,
feel
then it's
really
obscure.
obscure to me. And two of them didn't make the list. So it's like, well, they're wrong, obviously.
Right.
I'm correct about everything. So
True. You do have a vast knowledge.
that's how I live my life.
I have to look at my phone. I'm like, wait, what game am I talking about? That's how obscure it is. It's a bad obscure.
All right.
Oh yeah. Oh baby. For the Dreamcast,
Ooh.
1999.
That
All
is
sorry,
old.
I'm going into mine already.
I know you started the last one.
I
so
did.
I mean this one.
oh
my god.
my Christ!
Jarrett,
Just when I thought we were professionals at this,
I'm sorry.
we go ahead and
I'm
get
sorry.
the phone on.
I would like to point out it's never been me.
That's true. That's because
Who
your
has
iPhone
good phone?
is so weird looking and broken.
My perfectly beautiful Android phone.
It's a weird iPhone you
It's
got there.
no, it's a correct iPhone. This is how they're meant to be made.
It's an iPhone supposed to look like.
Sorry, Santa's on her way back from out of town, and she's sending me updates of her travel. So I would
God.
like to be able to know.
She's going to be here while we're recording.
No, she's not. She just texted me and said that her plane hasn't even left Dallas. That's picking her up in Lubbock. So
Holy moly.
she's gonna be a little bit later. Probably.
Remember when she called us out to play Mario Kart?
Oh yeah, we should do that sometime.
We should have it all set up when she comes in. 4 controllers.
Yeah.
Don't even say a word. And just
I've
give
got
it
nothing
give a
going on
controller
tomorrow.
to
Sit down.
Turn it on. We all sit down.
We'll have to schedule a time for that. We'll have to do a live feed or something.
We need her to be tired from her travels though,
Yeah, yeah,
because
yeah.
otherwise, I don't think we have a good chance.
No,
And we have to do Toad's Turnpike.
she'll probably pretty much just want to go to sleep.
Yeah.
So-
Fuck y'all.
All right, so getting back to this.
So obscure games.
Obscure games. So
I don't even.
yeah.
It's tough. It's tricky.
It was really tough. I really had to think about this one.
Yeah.
I had to,
Because I've said
dig
this,
back into the layers and the depths of my
Right.
my mind.
and I've considered myself a gamer, and I've always kind of been playing games, but I've always wondered about my relationships with the more obscure games. I
Well, no,
guess.
because I feel like I'm a gamer in the sense that oh no, I play the AAAs.
yeah, it's like, oh, what a gamer.
Oh, the ones that make it to real television commercials. Those are the ones
that have
play.
massive marketing budgets that I'm like, that looks cool. I'm gonna put my money to that game. But
Pretty much.
So I have tried to make a concerted effort to play more like independent games and,
Right.
stuff like that.
That's
It
good.
was
Well,
in fact
you're in
one
the-
of my 2016 gaming resolutions was to play at least some of an indie game a month, which I do not think I've studied too well.
Aren't we halfway through the
Yeah,
year?
shouldn't it be like 6 games
I
deep?
played. I mean,
He's playing Limbo.
I am playing Limbo. I've been playing Severed.
Yeah, that's a
from
good one.
Drinkbox Studios, which is a ton of fun.
You showed me Severed. That's
that
a
for your
cool
phone?
game.
Vita, PS Vita.
Oh, is that where you slice plants?
Yeah, well, no.
I mean
Fruit Ninja.
that's Fruit Ninja.
Light plants on fire?
Different thing.
No, it's not. No, I know it's. I know what Fruit Ninja is. Come on, give me a break.
No, Severed. It might
Those are
actually.
watermelons.
I mean, it would be the perfect game for a mobile device.
I thought they did it for mobile.
I just remember a list.
You know what's weird? They are putting it on the Wii U.
That makes sense
That's
too.
where I saw it from because it's going to like
Oh, well, cool. Then
incorporate
you'll
the
be
gamepad.
you can play it.
Yeah.
It's super fun. It's super fun.
Super nice.
And then let's see, Super Meat Boy. I've been playing.
Yeah, there you go. Hotline Miami, but that was
Was last year though. I'm gonna try to get Hotline Miami 2 this year.
Sort of as a semi follow up to Limbo, you can play inside once it comes
That's
out.
true too.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Limbo's great. Get through Limbo.
I try to. Yeah, no.
Have you run
playing
into a
Limbo.
spider yet?
Yes.
Isn't that a great
terrifying?
moment when you're walking towards the tree? Have you
Because I
played
hate spiders
No.
in real life.
Don't spoil it for me.
I'm just saying. Yeah, I mean, it's been out for a while, but when you're approaching that tree and there's like this leg comes out from behind the tree, this giant spider,
And then you have to like dodge it as it tries to
but
impale
you
you.
don't. But you don't dodge it the first time usually, right? The first time because
I
you're
saw it
curious.
and then immediately stopped because obviously spider. And I'm like,
Yeah.
nope.
See, I think I like approached it because I didn't know what was going on. But yeah, there's some like
Well, because as you walk
imaginative
closer to it and its leg like gently flicks out towards you,
Yeah,
and
you
you're like,
don't really know
okay,
what's
well,
going
it's
on.
going to do something to me.
Right,
I
right.
don't want to get close.
a lot of
And then
trial and error in that game.
Lots of that.
My policy is spiders are our ecological friends.
I like spiders.
I
Well,
like
they're
spiders.
killing me. It's for a good reason.
They're probably in the right.
You know, you can tell me how you feel about that when one bites you,
Yeah.
because that's happened to me.
Well, I do.
Fiddleback.
Fiddleback. Well, you lived. You're fine.
I did.
They built character.
Fortunately, didn't have any of the terrible rotting flesh that happens from that. Stopped
That would have
it.
been a cool story, though.
Got a shot in time. Was saved. They're not fun. They're not cool. Spiders aren't cool.
No, especially the ones that are bigger than you.
Yeah, and such as the case in Limbo. Okay, so let's get this thing going.
Okay.
I'm going to start this one off.
You're gonna do it?
Executive decision. I'm starting this
All
one
right.
off. So one
Obscure
of
games.
mine. This is way back when in my childhood. It is from 1998, and is Descent Free Space: The Great War.
Never heard
Never
of
heard
it.
of it.
Okay, so it is a space simulator game.
A space sim.
So basically, you're in a spaceship and you're flying around and you are shooting other ships and stuff like that. Space battles,
Sure.
basically.
Yeah.
Is
And
this 2D or 3D?
2D.
Oh, okay. Cool.
I mean, as much as like a 1998. Well, I mean, I don't know. I don't remember really.
Huh.
I'm seeing it as like that old school 2D scroller.
Yeah, I'm seeing it as like Galaga.
Yeah.
No,
Galaga.
it was very
Just joking.
it was very similar to other space simulators at the time, like the X-wing or TIE fighter games from LucasArts, where
Okay.
you could play it with a joystick, and I'm pretty sure I did play it with a joystick.
Okay.
On your TV?
No, computer. I played it on a
Oh,
computer.
and you had a joystick for your computer?
Yeah.
I think I did too, actually. Go ahead.
Which is kind of sad that
You may pass.
Which it's kind
Continue.
of sad that like things like that aren't around.
I know. I had
like
a flight sim.
yeah, I used to have like a helicopter game. Man, I can't remember what it was called now. That would have been a good obscure game.
Yeah.
But
So
like I had one for it was like you could be either like some Russian helicopter pilot or another one, or like the other version of the game you could be American pilot, and it was and all that stuff, and you could use the joystick and all that stuff. I miss
Man, we missed that both
I
in
did
my
too.
house.
Yeah. I
but
did use joysticks.
but anyway, so Free Space, you are a pilot in the Galactic Terran Alliance,
Sounds legit.
and you're
With
currently in the middle of a war with the Parliamentary Vasudan Empire,
Of course.
which the Vasudans are aliens.
Those
I know.
bastards.
I'm not going to be able to go like super into it because,
No.
like I said, I played this game a long time ago, and the only other person that I know of who played it was my friend, and they played it for a little while. I played it for a little while, and then I have heard nothing of it since.
Just
It's
into the
just
ether
faded
it
away,
goes.
faded away. And so anyway, the Terrans and the Sudans are in the midst of a war, and they are then both attacked by a alien race that neither of them know, and and this alien race is dubbed the Shivans. Yes, the Shivans. I'm having to double check myself on that. And so, and they are coming in, devastating force, have high high-powered ships, high-powered weapons, and the God, I'm stumbling over these. The Vasudans.
Well, these are ridiculous words. I don't
know.
blame
Silly.
you. And no
Vasudans
one knows what you're talking about
And
anyways.
the Terrans are like, hold up now. We got to put aside our differences to stop all these guys.
Okay.
Because they're obviously some big bad dudes.
Right.
We're not going to last long if we're trying to fight all of us all at the same time. We got to become allies.
We can't play this Smash Bros. Style.
No. Free for all. Can't do it. We're going to lose because these guys are better. So it just was a really. I remember playing it for the first time, and when you're playing like the first mission, and the Shivans come out of space, out of nowhere, and interrupt this battle and just start destroying people all around you, and you realize that, and it was a moment where you're suddenly taken in like, okay, I'm able to handle these Sudans, okay, like they're fine, and then the Shivans come in. And your immediate response is, I can do nothing. People are getting blown out of the sky next to you. It's, your fellow fighter pilots are coming in over the comms being like, we're being destroyed. Like, oh my God, I'm hit. And blown up, hell. Explosions everywhere.
Now, are you like, does all of the game take place in one single spacecraft? Are you just flying around space?
Yeah, I mean, there are levels and missions and stuff like that.
Okay.
And there is a story to it.
So it's not like a free roaming
No.
I
mean, this is 98. Like, I don't really think
Are you
they
bringing
had.
it up, Mogan?
I am trying.
They had really the ability to make like a free roaming open world game.
Descent.
Yeah.
Like a descent. Okay, I was thinking dissent, like a dissenting opinion.
Oh, no.
Okay,
Descent,
gotcha.
like
That's
going
what-
down.
I was like, it's so obscure, even Google can't find it. And it's like, oh no, never mind. Okay, so
Let me see some
Yeah, so it's like
helps
you
me-
see it on the inside
that
of your
helps.
cockpit.
That helps a
Oh,
lot.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it doesn't
I
look
was
that bad.
definitely still thinking Galaga.
Oh,
This
no.
is very much-
No, I like the heads up display here.
Yeah, it's from inside
Isn't
your
it
cockpit.
nice and beautiful on my
First person-
gorgeous
All
Android
right.
phone?
Get this
First
out of
person
here.
from inside your
Heavy
cockpit.
brick.
And, you could, obviously you had different weapons, you had shielding and all this other stuff, a radar that would let you know where it is. And you just have to battle all the different types of warships that would come in. And so, some would be stronger than others, take longer to take down. And it was a fun space simulator. I played, around that time I was playing a lot of like TIE Fighter and X-Wing, those great LucasArts games.
That you got with a joystick, man, and like that is a real connecting force with the game to make it feel that much more realistic.
Oh, definitely.
Especially with
definitely.
PC games.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
especially
when you're flying stuff. Like
Yeah.
I said,
Yeah.
Flying simulator, stuff like
makes you
that.
feel like a real
Being
pilot.
able to
Yeah,
have
I
that
used to
joystick.
sit down and like move, stretch and like put
Like
both hands
the
on
wheel
the joystick.
attachment for Mario
Yeah.
Kart. It's like, yes!
Yes, totally.
And I got my parents got me a joystick that was like a ridiculous. It was huge. It had
Massive.
it was this massive joystick. I just loved taking it in my
Hug
hands.
it.
And
Lead his whole body.
and so, but it had like it had a console on it.
Oh, I've
like
seen
the
those.
base of it was like. You can't see this in this audio format that we're recording in, but
great.
it was probably like an 8-inch square. Basically, was the platform of it. Picture that in your heads.
I'm there.
And it had throttle switches on it and all this other stuff. It was like nice.
So you like flip the switches up and
Yeah.
boot it up like you're
We are
actual
go.
pilot.
Houston, we are.
There's a
go for
game that
takeoff.
was a mech game that was really popular, probably over 10 years ago, that had bigger than a keyboard side with 2 joysticks and a bunch of buttons in the middle, and it was like supposed to be just for this one mech game. I don't know what the game's called. I'm sure people that are listening would know, but
Isn't that in obscure games? Why are we
well,
talking about
I never
this?
played it, and it is. I think it's supposed to just be designed for that one game. It's like an exact replica of what the inside of this cockpit would be.
Oh,
yeah, and so these gamers
that's
got,
some serious dedication
it
to
is.
one
That's
game.
that's hardcore stuff. That's as far as I can remember. But I just remember seeing these images, and I was like, it looked so complicated. I thought the joystick I had was like, with the 5 buttons on it was complicated. This thing was like you were driving a mech.
One of my favorite things to like think back on is if we adjusted for inflation, how much would that cost today? Like how much would that crazy mech, whatever, joystick, keyboard
that
combo,
thing's
how
called.
much would that cost in today's money?
I don't know.
That's a good question.
For one game.
For one game, and you can't really get away with that stuff anymore.
Yeah.
Maybe you
No.
could do a VR game only now, and that'd be like the new thing. But yeah, I don't know.
But
This
even
mech
then-
mech games have kind of gone out of style.
They really have.
That reminds me of another obscure
What was
game.
the
I
big?
guess Titanfall's a mech game.
Yeah, it's a newer version of it,
Yeah.
but it didn't do that well.
No.
Balls, what was
Didn't
that
have the
game
longevity.
called?
No. Poor Dylan bought it.
Wasted his money.
Wasted his
Fool.
poor Dylan. Okay.
But yeah.
I dig it.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
So Descent Free Space.
Yeah.
Look it up.
These arguably games
Decent.
are going to be like,
It's
all right.
decent. Free
Sorry,
space.
Decent
Sounds
Free
good.
Space.
Yeah.
The Great War. It was a lot of fun. But that was the other thing I remembered about it. It was that made it stick out in my head. Is that, TIE Fighter and X-Wing, those were fun. They were cool because they were Star Wars and you were in that universe, but you never felt a emotion really other than you're flying around and shooting down ships. Yeah. And I remember actually when I would play that with my friend, we were
flying around shooting down ships.
Well, it was,
I know what you mean.
It was cool, but that was the experience.
Right.
And we would always have fun with it. Like I remember one time my friends and I, what is the song? It's the old 70s song, the na na na, hey 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 hey.
Oh yeah,
that song.
Yeah.
We would
na na na.
yeah. Na na na.
Would you sing that while you were playing?
No, we would have it on, and so we would try to time up blowing up a ship to when they say hey 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 goodbye, boom
On your cassette player back in 19...
I'm pretty sure we had it on CD.
Oh, new technology.
But the thing is, playing TIE Fighter and X-Wing, we could have fun with it. We would do things like that because it was a fun game. Descent, I remember, actually inspired a sense of fear when the Shivans came in and started just wrecking shop. And with flying around, especially in that mission when they were first introduced, all the AI went into panic, and you go into panic, and it just made for a really great, memorable play experience.
Yeah, I feel like not a lot of people have played that game.
Probably no
Sounds
one.
I have not run into anyone else other than my friend who had it also.
All right, you're gonna have to start asking strangers.
Hey man, just walk up. Hey man, you play Free Space?
What the fuck? The hell are you talking about?
That's me with Legend of Dragoon. I'm just going around. How about you?
Legend of Dragoon is so embedded in my mind now that it feels like a popular game.
I feel like I
of the
played
amount of
it.
times Mogan. Yeah, I feel like I've played the full game. I can tell you every detail.
It took so much struggle for me to not put it on my little
yes,
list
you
of
cannot-
I was like,
Like Legend of Dragoon. And my number
have
one,
it.
Legend of Dragoon.
I was like, I wonder if they'll be mad at me.
I wonder if they'll notice. What's that, Mogan?
I'm just gonna walk over
I was
and
like,
turn
maybe
down
they
the
won't
microphone.
remember.
Continue.
Mogan only had 2 on her list this time. Rare deficiency.
Dead space for 10 minutes.
That's weird. She was just out. And she didn't know what was going on.
so funny.
So Mogan, what is one of your
All right.
games?
So, I don't think either of you have. Have either of you heard of or know anyone who has played Siberia?
Have not.
No.
Okay.
What?
So, for
What is
starters,
Siberia?
if you're Googling it,
Is it the country?
No. So if you're Googling it, it's Siberia with a Y. Syberia.
Okay.
So that actually might be how actual Siberia is spelled, and I was just doing it wrong across all boards. But I'm pretty sure the game is spelled differently.
How Americans spell it is S-I.
Balls.
But who knows how actual Russians spell it?
Who knows? So Siberia. It was originally released for PC, I believe, way back in 2002. And this would have been around the time, kind of before our family had kind of any other consoles besides, I think we had our PlayStation 1 at that time. Mm-hmm. And we had the computer, like our regular PC. We didn't have Macs. And really the only thing that we used our computer for was Mom would play Tomb Raider, and we would play the demo of Final Fantasy VII because we didn't realize it was a demo. We thought it was a really short game.
That's a short game.
This is a short game
Wow.
that gives no context for the story it's planted you right into the middle of. But we loved it. It was the best. So we really, as kids, we really didn't use the computer that much aside from like the Jumpstart games.
Oh,
so
yeah.
Yeah, do you remember Jumpstart?
I played a lot of Jumpstart.
I never played
We never
that.
got
Did you
any
play
smarter.
Did you play any of the Learning
It
Company?
never worked.
Yeah, we played a lot of
Did
that.
you play Operation Neptune?
No.
Damn it.
Sorry.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm
Obscure
looking
games, Operation Neptune. Let's talk
I mean,
about
if you
it.
were into the Learning Company games, you probably played, well, I guess not. You probably might not have played Operation Neptune, but that was my jam.
Our
I'm just
favorite
real
was,
quick. I'm looking at images of Siberia. This game looks awesome.
It's a cool looking
It
game,
looks
isn't
good.
it? So
It
for
looks
starters,
really
for
good.
being from 2002, the graphics have held up very well.
The graphics are
looks
decent.
pretty
So
good.
considering the time
landscape.
frame, the pre-rendered backgrounds were actually very realistic. So in comparison to what else was available at the time, it was really pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Like if you went back and compared it to, for example, a Tomb Raider game from around the same time period, the difference in polygons is very noticeable. So like Siberia was a good looking game at the time. I actually cannot recall right now the name of the company who made it, and I think that's because they're based in Montreal. So it's a really weird looking spelling, and I was like, I don't even know how to say those words.
I'm gonna try.
So I'm not even going to try. But it was like a team of only about, I think, 35 people. at whatever company this was. And so Siberia is really a third-person adventure game. So it's just point and click. You know, you point and click on the screen to move your primary protagonist, Kate Walker, lawyer extraordinaire,
she looked
around
like a
the
cool
map.
Indiana
So
Jones
first
type
of all,
character.
Kate Walker is a super badass. So on top of she's not a silent protagonist. She's very active, definitely has a voice of her own, and kind of as you're progressing through the game, in addition to unraveling the mystery of what you're investigating, you also learn more about Kate and her backstory. So it's very like, oh, the more I learn about these other characters, the more I'm learning about myself. As Kate Walker, lawyer from New York. She's a New York lawyer. And she's going to France, is how the game starts, to basically close the sale of a derelict toy factory. So she's going to this obscure little town in France because some old lady has
Not
just
Siberia?
died. No, so it starts in France. Yeah, you started in this little town in France. You're basically, you have like your legal documents, and all you need is for the notary in this freaking town to sign off on your documents so that you can officially turn over the sale of this toy factory to, I think it's some outside company that has bid on it because the old woman who used to run it has died. But, like a week before she actually died, the old lady was like, by the way, that brother that you all thought died when he was 7 that I had, he's totally alive. So you can't sell the factory. I know. It starts.
Twist.
This is the very beginning. It's not a spoiler.
I should have said twist. Plot twist is what I meant.
This is how the game starts. So it starts, she's died. You, as Kate Walker lawyer, can't get the stupid notary on your forms because, as it turns out, you can't complete the sale because one of the guys who is technically the inheritor of the toy factory is still alive. So Kate's like, balls, now I gotta go find this guy.
That's in the game, right?
That's in the game.
She's like,
It's in balls.
damn.
So you have to go find Hans, who is the old woman's younger brother. But do keep in mind that in game, he's very, very old.
Okay.
So something that I kind of struggled with when I was playing the game was actually putting to thought, hey, even though we're talking about a guy that used to be a child, it is now 50 years in the future, and he is definitely not a kid anymore. So eventually you do meet Hans at like the very end of the game, and of course he's an old man, and I was like, gosh, he's a lot older than I was expecting. And it just like, I was really stupid as a kid. It wasn't sinking in.
Right.
And I probably shouldn't have been playing Siberia, because in terms of difficulty of the puzzles, it's almost like a more user-friendly Myst. So as we've talked about, Myst is one of the most difficult puzzle games on planet Earth, and it's the worst. But like Siberia is the much more accessible version of this. So it's point and click. You do all kinds of puzzles throughout the world that are very steampunk. Like that's definitely the aesthetic, and I would like to say that Siberia did it before it was cool, because back in this time, steampunk was not a thing.
It was not,
not
it was
popular
not
a thing. So what you're doing
Steampunk hipsters.
Exactly. So what you're doing as Kate is you basically board this very steampunk train, which is like this really cool mix of old and new technology, and you're like, well, I guess it's okay if I'm the only passenger on this train whose engineer is a snarky robot that thinks I'm not doing things right. And it's like, that's cool, whatever. So the train is on basically predetermined tracks because crazy old Hans built it that way, because it turns out Hans, when he was 7, fell off a rock and banged his head really bad.
No. What?
And now
They
he's
snuck that in there.
and now he's kind of mentally deficient. So like you would almost say that he's crazy, but not really. He's like a mad genius almost.
Okay.
They couldn't figure out a way to do character development.
No.
So they said, hey, he slipped and hit his head.
Yeah,
and he's
no,
crazy.
that's the thing. So he slipped and hit his head, and everyone thought he died, but as it turns out, he's alive, but he's crazy. And he's obsessed with mammoths. And so Hans has spanned... Yes!
Aren't we all?
So
Loves those mammoths.
he's obsessed with
I
mammoths.
don't get where this is going.
The game is
I'm already
crazy.
like
It's
kind
a
of
crazy
like, wait,
game.
okay, back up. What's the
There's no
protagonist's
turning
name?
back. We're already in it.
We're on the train. The train's
So we're on the
left.
train. It goes in one direction. There's no turning back.
Oh, God.
So you are following this train basically to track down Hans. And Hans is the only place the train can possibly lead to because he built it. It's only going to him. So you basically track through to actual Siberia to eventually find Hans. And along the way, you meet all of these other crazy characters. And you basically find like pieces of Hans's legacy. Like, you come to this university, and it's, like, crazy and weirdly mechatronic and whatever, and their entire band is all robots, and you have to fix the robots because nobody's around to take care of them because Hans is crazy and he left them. And it's just like, this is a weird game.
That is... this is a baffling game. But it's also amazing, though. I mean, just look at the screenshots. It looks great. It's from 2002, you said?
Yeah, it was from 2002.
What you're describing sounds impressive.
Now, I think since then... this was new information that I discovered. There was definitely a Siberia 2, because Siberia 1 ends on a cliffhanger. Basically, you find Hans' immediate cliffhanger. So Kate, basically at the end of the game, spoiler alert, is like, hey, fuck my unfaithful boyfriend back in New York. I'm going to stay on this crazy chain and we're going to find those mammoths.
Hell yeah.
It's like, go, Kate Walker, take life into your own hands.
Do it, girl.
Do it, girl. So as it turns out, there was a Siberia 2, and Siberia 3 is coming out this year.
Really?
Wait,
they're still making
They're
this
still
game.
making
This is,
Siberia.
like, very
There's
relevant.
Siberia 2
You didn't play?
in on another cliffhanger.
I did not
You
play.
must be dying to know.
I didn't know that there.
I want to know.
Like I said, we thought the Final Fantasy demo was the whole game.
Right.
When Siberia
Think
ended,
about where our minds were.
when Siberia ended, I was like, "Oh, that's it. I guess we'll never know how Kate turns out."
Just put that out of your mind.
Yeah.
And
I know,
now,
just put that out of my mind.
You, the player.
I've got Spyro to play. I'm busy.
Yeah, exactly.
So Siberia 3, as it turns out, December 1st of 2016. It's totally coming out.
What do you know?
I bet
And
you it's going to
the
look
same-
great.
It's the same people. The same people have continued to be.
funny, 20
it's
people.
those same people in Montreal. They're
They
still
must be
making
doing
them.
something right.
who makes it? Who makes it?
Yeah, who is it?
Siberia 3.
Give us
Hold on,
a
let me just go
Google.
to Siberia 3. Release date
It's the same
December
dude.
1st, 2016.
Boom.
What's the developer?
Wow.
Who are-
There's a designer.
You're not helping, Zach.
Oh, well, give me a second.
Get to that Wikipedia.
Developer. Microids.
Oh, see,
Additional work
but
by
it's weird shaped,
Collab
isn't it?
I bet it's
Studios.
like
Yeah.
McCroy.
Yeah.
It's probably like McCroy.
Kyloton Games.
McQuaw. It's McQuaw.
McCroy.
I know I'm right about that.
Cool, which contains steambunk's elements and follows the adventures of American Laura Kate Walker as she travels across Europe and
Boom.
Russia.
There
you
we go.
What's
Yeah.
this?
Still in
You
Very
Siberia.
concise.
did not make any of that up, apparently.
No, it's all true. I
It's all
swear.
true. Now I'm going to look for images of Siberia 3, see what it looks like, see if it's evolved at all.
Because I haven't even, like, today, when I was looking
Work
back,
in progress.
It looks worse than the first game.
It looks a little
somehow
worse.
they're doing even worse.
Just kidding. It looks
No,
great.
it looks cool.
It looks good.
Yeah, it looks
I
good.
actually believe that originally they had wanted to make Siberia's 1 and 2 into one game, but they were like, actually, there's way too much crap here, so they had to turn it into 2 games.
She doesn't look like she's aged that much.
Yeah, well, she hasn't. She's
It's all cliffhangers.
You're
Each one
tracking-
ends by a
True.
cliffhanger.
That's true. I guess they're not going by real time.
in the cold of Siberia. It's very preservative.
Yeah. Oh, look at this character.
She's held up well. Oh, who is it?
I don't know. It's like a little
Oh,
plump
gosh.
grandma with a stick. With an owl on her shoulder. I like it. I like
She
the
seems
design.
wise.
They seem like they put a lot of love in this game.
They
I'm not
did.
gonna
So
lie.
it's almost like I think of people who play puzzle games,
cool.
they would know Siberia.
Yeah, okay.
So like my mom knows Siberia. She played it. She was the
Can't be
one
that
who
obscure, then.
She was the one who bought it because like she was the one who was like, I need more puzzle games after Myst, and so like that's how we had Siberia in our household. Because otherwise, my bro and I, we never would have played that game. We were like 10. We wouldn't have done that. But yeah, so it's great.
Cool.
Siberia. Go back and play it. Oh,
right.
what I was trying to say before I said Siberia 3, they ported it to like the PlayStation 3. So I'm pretty sure it's more accessible now. Like
Nice.
you can
You
find
just
it
go
for
buy it on the
download
PSN?
places.
Well,
It's
there you go.
got to be on Steam. It's so old it has to be.
Probably. Steam or good old games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
GOG.com.
It's somewhere on there.
We'll have to find it.
So yeah.
We'll get Siberia 3 when we review it.
Woo.
Yeah.
Be the first episode of 2017.
But I feel like that's a game that I'm going to have to
Siberia
play.
3.
Yeah, it's mind-boggling.
Come
I'm gonna
out
have
of
to
the
play
gate strong.
Siberia 1 and 2.
Nah. Mogan gave us everything.
That's true. We know Siberia 1. We don't know what happens to
cliffhanger.
Siberia 2. So we got to find out if they find the mammoths. But Zach,
Yes.
what is your game?
My numero trace comes from Dreamcast. I
Okay.
already mentioned this before we started the episode. And I had a tough time trying to figure out like a top 3. I knew 2. I had like 2 solid ones that I don't know how obscure they really are, but they're obscure to me. And my
Meaning they're not Halo.
meaning they're just anything just a little bit lesser known than Halo. That's really obscure. My 2 solid ones are 1 and 2 respectively. But my number 3 is, like I said, for the Dreamcast, and it's a game. They're here, and it is a game called Tricks. Damn it, Trick Style. See, that's how
You don't
obscure
even
it is.
know.
Trick Style. Well, I think it's Trick Style.
Is it with an X or a CK? Or just a
Neither.
K? Is it
Trick
just a
Style.
C?
CK. Trick Style. Yeah, Trick Style.
Trick style.
And so I got this game randomly at an Easter egg hunt, which sounds odd, I know.
Easter Bunny giving out games.
Yeah, he loved.
What kind of
loved
Easters
me.
did you have?
It was my neighbor was having it, and she put in like $50 bills in the eggs.
What
and
kind of neighborhood did you live in?
That doesn't matter. Oh, Fender's got something around his nose.
It's his toy rope. It's all
toy.
good.
And
It's all
so,
good.
anyways, I found this game behind a bush, and I was like, "What is this part of like the hunt?" And sure enough, it was. So I got the game Trick Style, a game I would have never gone out of my way to ask for my parents because I'm like 10 at this. I'm young, so I was asking for games from my parents. I wasn't buying my own, and I would have never wanted to really get this game. It didn't seem that interesting to me, and actually, in the long run, I still consider it a kind of not a great game, but it's obscure, and I liked it. You know,
At the time.
I consider it not a great game in like maybe a public's eye, but I thought it was cool.
Yeah.
And if you've ever played like Wave Racer or
yeah.
It sounds like it would be a snowboarding game.
it's
Or like
clo-
some
it's-
kind of like
you're on boards.
skateboarding.
Well, you're on
They're
boards.
hoverboards. They're
okay.
hoverboards. Yes. So there we go.
Slightly
Picture
more
that.
into the future.
Yeah, slightly more, a lot more into the future. You're like in Tokyo, Great Britain, and like America, I think. And there's these 3 different
There's
worlds.
a lot of America.
Which America specifically? There's all these tracks, and it's a mixture between, like I said, with Wave Racer or SSX 1080.
I love
or what is
SSX
oh, no.
Tricky.
SSX Tricky, and then there's 1080. So it's like those games that are racing
Tricky's the
combined
best.
with doing tricks.
Okay.
That's what the game's about. You are essentially this cool. They're all like young teens that are like really good on their hoverboard. You know, they're like, I don't even know what they do for a living. Maybe that's it. Maybe they just hoverboard around.
Skate, bro.
Yeah, come on. Ride or die. But they go down these crazy tracks, like half pipes with crazy arrows. It's kind of got that, I don't want to compare it to Jet Set Radio because it's not like cell shaded, but it has that same sort of aesthetic, being bright lights, neon flavored. All the characters are like kind of in baggy pants and like, you know, cool.
Jengas. Not
cool,
Jengas.
People what would
What are those
consider
jeans?
cool style in like the early 2000s, right? But it looked terrible.
What are
But
those old style baggy jeans?
I know what you're talking about with the pockets on like the back of the
Yeah.
calves.
We
We were just talking about those.
not
actually
Jengas.
recently.
That's a game.
No.
I know, right?
Jenga. Yeah, cool Jengas.
Jenkos.
Jenkos. That sounds right.
Yeah, I think that's what it is.
Yeah, so you can see that Mogan's got some images.
Sounds not correct.
And you had boost, and you did all these tricks, and that was incorporated. You could like lie down on your hoverboard, you could throw it in the air and catch it, and do all these crazy hover moves. And
Yeah, it definitely has a more futuristic look than I was expecting.
yeah, I feel like it's pretty far. Let me take a look. Yeah, there it is. That guy looks like a Power Ranger. But you can see, look how cool they are. You know, look at that. I mean, look at that. That's like Justin Timberlake circa In Sync, right? He's got the hat and like
does
the
kinda.
vest. But it was a cool game, and it reminded me. There's another game. I keep saying Wave Racer, but it's a game that you were on boats that would fly off big jumps that you'd play in the arcade. a lot.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
I should know it. I play that game. I used to play that game all the time, but this game definitely feels like one that belonged into an arcade. And I guess Dreamcast was kind of like a little arcade. Honestly, most of the games for that console felt very
Oh,
arcadey.
here's all the characters.
There
They
you
all
go.
look like Power Rangers.
Right? And they're all
Nice.
like
Yeah.
red,
Okay.
green,
Yeah.
and blue. You
You
know,
have to be able to
super
find them
cool.
easily.
They know who their market was. It was like a 10-year-old me. It was perfect. I loved it. And
Oh, we got some mad tricks going on.
there you go.
Yeah.
And see, okay, that particular
Oh,
arena, so
man.
Mogan brought up a picture. It's like, it looks like what monster trucks might go through, right?
Yeah, dirt bikes.
Yeah, dirt bikes,
Yeah.
but like an arena style
Yeah,
though.
yeah,
It's like indoors. So that's what I actually did probably more times than not. I didn't really like racing that much. I like to go in and hit jumps and practice my tricks. Being trick
Oh,
style,
there's the
I thought that was
official
the most
art.
important thing. Yeah, there you go.
I
Man,
forgot what even the
it brings me
Dreamcast
back.
logo looked like. Like,
Yeah.
I forget about this kind of
Not
stuff.
bad,
Yeah.
right? Acclaim made it, who I think are out of business. I think, right?
They've got to be. Come on.
Most
It's an
likely.
Activision. No, Activision's still making stuff, aren't they?
Yeah, Activision's huge now. Still
Pretty sure
is.
Acclaim, who I think made Turok as well. Or did Activision make Turok? I don't know. Oh, wait. Is that
Turok's
like
coming back,
racist
getting a
character?
remake.
Cool. Now you get the basic tricks. 360, speed something, boogie drill.
Boogie drill.
Cool names like that.
Cool stuff.
Yeah,
cool
you
kid
had your own
stuff.
board, and yeah, it's essentially a snowboarding game
Yeah.
set in the future. I mean, that's when 2 people came together and just said, "Hey, let's take that and like mix it with that. Boom, make the game."
Nice.
But it worked for me. My 10-year-old brain was
No, I
in
played.
love
I
with
played.
I probably would have loved it
I don't
too.
play them
'cause-
Yeah.
now, but I used to play all the.
it. I wouldn't touch it now.
Well, just because it's not my cup of tea anymore.
No,
but like,
no.
I used to play snowboarding,
Totally.
skateboarding games like that, even though I never did it in real life.
I mean,
But,
if it were
right.
like
I was living
SSX
vicariously
Tricky.
through this game.
Exactly. Trick style. So I feel like it's obscure enough that I've had to put it on the list. I have no idea how many other people made
No
it.
one.
Or
We
Literally
received
no
so
one.
many emails.
It was
Trickstyle's the
best
best.
game ever. How dare you? It was, but like you guys saying, it's like me and my friends play. That's just the extent that I knew it.
Yeah.
It was before the internet was invented. No, I'm just joking. But it was a while before like I used the internet, so I have no idea.
Right.
But yeah, Trickstyle for the Dreamcast. I had to throw it in there.
Boom.
Nice.
Kind of obscure. I'll take it.
I'll allow it.
All
Oh,
right, Jerrett allows it. I will be done. All right, what's your number 2?
Okay, so mine, in this one, when I did I love this game for one specific reason, and I'll get to that in a second. But this one is actually a Star Wars game.
of course.
Of course.
Of
How many Star
course.
Wars games are obscure? Come on now.
Oh,
Come on
Show.
now.
And Jerrett hasn't talked about Star Wars in a while.
I haven't.
Are we sure?
Give me a break. Come
Jerrett,
on.
Jerrett, please.
Come on now. You actually brought that up earlier, so let's
that's
just leave that alone and not go into that more. So no, this one is Star Wars Force Commander. It's from 2000.
Played it. No, I'm just joking. Go ahead.
Everyone knows about
you
Force
don't even like
Commander.
Star
You
Wars.
didn't even play computer or PC games, so how would you play this?
That's not true, but go ahead.
So, played this game coincidentally with the same friend who had Free Space.
Oh,
And so this game was a real-time strategy Star Wars game. Basically, your character, which is interesting that they gave you a character other than just like a nameless commander, go fight the rebels here, or go fight the Imperials here. But you were Bran Tantor. Or Braun. I can't read my handwriting now.
Smirking.
Bran Tantor. And you are a member of the Imperials, which this was different because most Star Wars games you had to you could choose to be the Imperials or the rebels.
You're gonna hate me. The Imperials are the bad guys, right?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
so you're
Yes.
forced to be a bad guy in this game?
Yeah, you start off as a bad guy. And eventually you switch over to the rebels because you realize
Oh, come on.
your brother tells you that, hey, the Imperials killed our dad. We can't be with them. And you defect to the
plot
rebellion.
for the last Star Wars. Doesn't that guy start as
Spoil. Will not allow Star Wars spoilers on this podcast.
Everyone saw that movie within like 2 weeks that it came out.
I know, I'm just kidding.
But isn't that right?
Not really.
He was an Imperial though, and then he switched because his friend got killed.
Who are you talking about?
The black guy. I didn't want to say that, but I don't know his name.
Finn.
Yeah, Finn.
Okay, no, yeah, okay. He defects from the Imperials.
Yeah,
Yes, he
okay,
does. Or
all
the
right.
First Order, technically. They're not Imperials.
oh my God.
We'll go into that another time.
Okay, continue.
But anyway, so you are Bran Tantor. Or Bron Tantor, because now I cannot read my handwriting.
We'll call him Bran
it.
Flakes.
I scratched it too much. I chicken scratched it out too
I
much.
can't look at that. I can't read it either.
But anyway, so you learn that your father was killed by the Imperials. And you're like, well, I can't serve these guys anymore, and you defect over to the rebels. Your brother is captured by the Imperials and imprisoned. And so basically, this game, the setting of the game is in between episodes 4 and 6, which are A New Hope, Empire Strikes Back, and Return of the Jedi. So, and as that your battles take place on many. So I know you guys are probably going to be like thinking what these places are, but I'm hoping that people who listen to this
Most
know what
people
these
will
are.
know. I won't
these are.
stop
So
you.
I'm not going to go too
No,
much
no.
into this.
I won't
So
stop
you
your
take
training.
you take part in battles on Tatooine, Hoth.
I knew that one.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. Tatooine, Hoth, and Endor, and then eventually you take the fight to the imperial capital of Coruscant,
I knew that
It's
one
gonna be a
too.
quiz.
where
That's
you
the end of
siege
this.
siege the imperial palace and eventually rescue your brother. But it has the typical things of real-time strategy. You are allowed you have units like the AT-ATs, AT-STs, stormtroopers, and then the rebel sides on rebel troops and all this other stuff, and you just are fighting. You have objectives in your mission. You take those missions. You complete those objectives to win the mission.
So it is a strategy game then.
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
thinking of a very different game. So
No,
like
it's
this-
not like a first-person
okay.
shooter,
Okay.
which is
Strategy.
why I was confused. That there's
okay.
actually a story to this.
Right. Okay.
And so, because that's typically not the case with real-time
Yeah.
strategy games. I mean,
Excuse me.
I'm not going to say that. I'm not going to say that because there's obviously like StarCraft. So that's a dumb thing to say.
And arguably, a malady with the cows is very story worthy.
That is true. Good old stronghold throwback right there. I like it.
I will.
like it.
I
I
will
see what you're
remember
saying.
that till the end of my days.
But anyway, so I'll preface that again with like Star Wars games. Normally, you're not given in a real time strategy like Empire at War or and stuff like that. Like Empire at War is another real time strategy Star Wars game, and you're not a character. You're just a person and you're controlling all this stuff. But anyway, the reason why I loved this game so much came from the very instant the main menu screen appeared, and it was
intrigued.
the music.
The iconic Star Wars music.
The iconic Star Wars music, but it was different.
Gasp.
Because since it starts as an Imperial.
Oh, I see. It's the Imperial March.
It's the Imperial March.
Oh, yeah. Which I didn't know.
But different.
But different.
Than the normal Imperial March.
Same, but different.
It is. Because it's basically like a orchestral / rock version of it.
That's cool.
It's really
Logan's
cool.
laughing.
And I have it. And I'm going to play a sampling of it.
Oh.
Because
the new element of the podcast has
ready.
emerged.
Here we go. I'll include this.
You should just...
I'll put it in, actually,
Okay.
but I'll just let you guys hear it now. I know, right? Awesome.
Awesome. That's way more like rock oriented than I thought.
It
I thought it'd be
is.
like a real rendition.
Like just
on,
have like a nice
classic
like
guitars.
one guitar, but no, it's
Yeah.
like hardcore
Yeah,
on
it's
rock.
like,
And I was like, I love it. As soon as it came on, I turned to my buddy and we were like, oh, what is this? And so that is why I remember Force Commander, and that still sticks in my head, and I have it on my phone as a
That's
song because I
freaking
still
awesome.
love it.
I'm sure after like
so
the
much.
200th time though, you're like, all right, just I want to play the game.
Oh, I know. Because I just, yeah, pumped up. I'm ready to go. Let's shoot some rebels.
Like punk rock version.
I know. It was awesome.
wild.
It was awesome. So, again, that friend is the only one who I remember playing this game or even knowing what this game is. So that's why it is on my list of obscure games.
There you go.
Nice.
There you go. A song did it. Simpsons did it. Sorry, go ahead.
Simpsons did it. All right, so we briefly touched on this before we started. My number 2 is Oni.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, I've heard of the game, but
now,
I don't know much
at least
about
two
it.
I
of
did know
you
Bungie.
recognize it, so I'm really not sure how actually obscure this game is, but this is actually one that made that list
Okay.
that I
Oh,
checked
right.
before, and they were like obscure games that everyone
you're
forgot,
like,
and it was
one
like
for
Oni,
one.
and I was like, yes, it is as obscure as I was
Justified.
hoping. So it came out in 2001. And we had it, I believe, for our PC.
Mm-hmm.
But I think technically it came out for PlayStation 2 and for Mac. So, Jer, you
I
could
think
have
you're
played
right.
this.
You're right.
Yeah.
I think they did.
And so it was actually made by Bungie. So this was before Bungie did Halo. They were like,
it was.
oh, well, we need something to fill all of the spare time we have.
I don't know if that was it, but sure.
Well, yeah,
We're gonna have a couple years off. Just
No,
after
it was
work.
that weird. It wasn't just Bungie. It was like Bungie West. It was like an offshoot of Bungie.
Bungie would have in it that early.
No, it was like the only game they made.
It was like their very first
Yeah,
one.
it was like their first and last, Bungie West. I'm pretty
Maybe-
sure it was some iteration
Someone's
of
gonna
that. Yes,
email us.
somebody
Someone's
somebody
gonna give
look
us an
that up.
angry email.
Somebody look
Well,
that up. But so
technically-
Oni, O-N-I, and you know, if you saw the cover art, I feel like you would be able to recognize it.
I know because I used to go to Bungie.net all the time
Yeah.
when Halo was out, and they would
Yeah.
always have their other games up there.
like their legacy stuff
They
because
would.
they
They'd
made
have
Marathon
Marathon.
and all that other stuff
Because
too.
I'm pretty sure this is actually one where we like went into a game store and I saw the box art for the PC boxes and I was like, Mom, I want that one. And like on the cover, it's protagonist Kanoko and she's covered in like bullet belts and guns. And my
yeah.
mom was
Oh,
like,
I
I,
remember
don't
this
know
now.
about
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
It does. It's so
Wow.
like it's very recognizable.
Yeah, it's very
so
cool.
she's awesome. It's like very anime looking,
Wow.
and I was a huge anime nerd, so I was like, yes, this is exactly what I'm looking for. So if you didn't know what it was, you would really have no grasp of how incredibly complex the battle system is. So technically it is a third-person shooter, but I'm using air quotes here. It is very much a fascinating combo of both third-person shooter and hand-to-hand combat. I am genuinely not sure that I have encountered another game, except for perhaps fighting games, where hand-to-hand combat is this complex.
Really?
Like, considering how young we were and how very, very bad at everything I was, Oni was not the game for me. But I loved it all the same. I remember being stuck on the same goddamn level for... I quit.
You never finished.
No, whichever level it was, I was stuck.
Level one?
Oh, it was the... It was this one particular battle against this one bad guy, Barbaros or whatever his name was.
Barbados.
And I never, it wasn't Barbados. I was like, so this sounds about right, but I don't think I'm correct. But I never beat him. Whatever it was, he had like this crazy particle cannon, almost like Zarya's from Overwatch.
There you go.
And he would just mow you down with it. And I was like, fine, this is fine. I'll just give up.
When you mentioned that it's like a first-person shooter slash...
Not first-person, third-person shooter.
Slash
yes.
hand-to-hand combat, but really tricky. I see the Kuwap thing. What's that guy's name that you had to run really fun on the computer?
Oh, Quap?
Quap. I feel like I visualize you playing it and your character is just like a rubber band and you're like, God, I can't figure this thing out.
No, not
can't
quite.
Be that bad, right?
It's a little bit more structured than
Right,
that. So actually, architecturally speaking, I am pretty sure that they actually hired 2 real architects to build the levels.
Oh, wow.
That's really
So
cool.
the levels were very... So it takes place in actually, I think it's the year 2032. So we're not that far away from it. We're coming up on Kanoko's time. So it's like futuristic for the time. You're in 2032. What the actual story that I really didn't absorb until I went back and revisited the game, I think for PlayStation 2, fairly recently, was you are in a dystopian kind of Orwellian future. And at first, as Kanoko, you are a special agent of this special task force. And your whole job is to suppress the general populace from realizing how bad the world really is. Because basically humanity is contained in these specific cities. And what the government is telling people is, oh, the world outside is very, very dangerous. It's this crazy environmental catastrophe or whatever. But what you don't know is it's actually just pollution. Oh. So the pollution outside your little domes is so bad that if you leave, you'll just immediately die from the toxicity levels. But the government, for whatever reason, doesn't want people to know that because they guess they'll be mad about it or whatever. So you, as Kanoko, are basically tasked with suppressing these people called the Syndicate. I'm pretty sure is what they were called. Mm-hmm. They were like the bad guys. So the Syndicate, you have to go around and fight them or whatever. And that's kind of as much as I absorbed as child me. I was like, Syndicate, bad. That's all I'm going to figure out. And so the game visually is very depressing. Like, in addition to being very polygonal for its time, it's very grayscale. Like, everything is gray, everything is dark, everything is bad. But all of the enemies are so unique. Like, every enemy kind of has its own class, and they all fight you in very different styles. And this is where your combat comes into play. So you can only carry one gun at a time. And ammo is extremely limited. Like, you can only find it in level. You're always running out. So hand-to-hand combat is really the clincher. And you have, as you progress, this enormous catalog of moves that you can use. And in theory, moves that you can master. And then use to fight the different types of classes of enemies that you come across. I never absorbed any of that. I was like, I'd better save my one bullet for the next guy that comes around the corner. I know punch and kick, and that's about it. But there were these wild moves. The one that I always wanted to master but couldn't, I think was called the Willow Kick, which was like this wild
Doesn't
kind
sound too dangerous.
Yeah, it was, I guarantee it. It was very lethal. Like, if you could figure it out, the Willow Kick was super cool, but the idea was to put this massive catalog of moves into combos. And I could never get it right, and I struggled through every level. I was stuck, I think, on level 4, which is just a single building for what felt like my entire life.
My childhood.
That's my struggle, though, with fighting games now. I'm not good at remembering the combos.
Yeah, it's like, oh, God, this is so difficult. But I still remember it very fondly. So even though I sucked at this game, I still remember it like, yes, Kanoko, she's the coolest. And actually, I think one of the developers of the game, in retrospect, she was like, you have no idea how much I had to fight for the main female protagonist to wear normal clothes.
Oh, I bet.
Because she has like a very normal outfit.
Yeah, but
and
at
the time, like for Tomb Raider and stuff, it was all very exaggerated, very sexualized. And she was like, no, we're going to have somebody cool and normal that could actually be a real cop. And I was like, yay, this is the best. So at the time, it was revolutionary. And if you haven't played Oni, go back and play it. You'll cry a lot, I think, but it's really good.
Out of frustration?
Yeah, out of frustration.
That's a game that would have slipped into obscurity if Halo had not been such a successful game. Because
I think so.
Bungie being attached to a game like Halo, I'm sure a lot of people went back.
Wait, it was Bungie and Rockstar.
Yeah, I saw Rockstar's
logo now that
on
I
there.
think about
like
it. I remember seeing the logo, and I was like, I am a Rockstar. Thank you.
Rockstar
At the time, none of those things made any sense to me. I was just like, whatever, this game's cool.
That's interesting too because it's like I went back and looked, and you're right. Yeah, it was Bungie West's only game, and it's
There we
weird
go.
that it's like
what is
It was
Like
their
this.
one and all. It was just like a branch.
Yeah.
Like it was just a branch of Bungie, and that's all they did. And then they were disbanded, which sucks because they made a really great game. At least
could have been.
one.
I mean, did you check to make sure there's not an Oni 3 about to come out in December?
I didn't check. I probably should have. Oni
Oni
5. We're on the fifth
It's always
installment.
been great.
We've changed our name to Bungie South. That's the only difference.
All right.
Headquartered in Austin, Texas.
Headquartered in Austin,
What?
Texas.
Jason Jones
That would
lives here.
suck.
That'd be awesome.
So yeah, Zach.
All right. My number 2 comes from small console, came out in early 2000s called the Xbox.
Oh,
Not
Wait,
very
never
well
heard of
known.
number
That's pretty
one?
obscure.
Yeah, I'll have to describe it, but yeah, it's already obscure, right?
Does it have an X on it?
The Ekbok, as I used to call it when I was a little boy. Ekbok. And this game is a game I've actually been wanting to talk about on the podcast for a long time.
Okay.
I've mentioned to you guys before in passing, but never have I been able to go into it and really talk about it, even though it's not like a crazy big game to talk about. But it's Bloodwake. Have you heard me say those two words together like that?
I think so.
Maybe once.
And maybe once.
Yeah, maybe once. Bloodwake. So Bloodwake is a game for the original Xbox that I got for I don't know what reason. Maybe the cover art looks so cool. And the cover, I think it's I want to say like a East Asian style boat with chainsaws on it.
What?
Not
Say all
chainsaws,
of those
chain
words
guns.
again.
Chain guns. It's so, and that's really the premise of the game right there. It's boats and guns.
Nice.
So picture
Blood, wake, like wake.
the
Oh,
wake of a boat.
Your
Oh,
wake gets
okay,
bloody. So
okay.
think of
Gotcha.
Vigilante 8 or Twisted Metal, but on water.
Okay.
That's what it is. And it is
crazy.
so much fun.
I'm looking at some
Yeah, look
pictures
at
and
the
it
images.
looks as wild as it sounds.
And now, when I ever so I recently did some research on this game just to refresh to refresh myself. And the graphics used to in my head were a lot better, but they're not bad. I think
pretty
it
good.
stood a little bit of the test of time. I think.
Tell me the year again. One more
2000
time?
that looks pretty
2001.
good. That looks pretty good
That does
for
look-
a early 2000s
That does.
Xbox game.
Well, what the main, I guess like the coolest part of it, in my opinion, was the physics. The water and the way the boats handled on the water was really well done.
Yeah.
At least for its time. I don't know. I haven't played it in forever. Maybe it still stands the test of time pretty well. But it had one of those abilities you could do in the option screen by making it like low tide, high tide, or like high waves, low waves, stuff like that. And I was like, ooh.
Wait, you have control over
You
those?
can. You can. At
Oh.
least as far as I can remember. And you can, if you make a map or you put like high waves on there, there was like nothing more fun than that because you get such great airtime.
You're bouncing
off these
all over the
boats.
place,
Oh my God,
yeah.
it was so fun. And you shoot missiles, you got chain gun. And I don't think, unless I just can't remember, there was any kind of story mode. Maybe there was, but it's really like a
The
battle
story is
arena.
cool boats.
Yeah, it's cool boats and water with guns.
That box art looks vaguely familiar.
Doesn't that? It looks kind of famous, doesn't
I've
it?
never seen this in my life.
So I think
I could be confusing it with someone else, but it's
I
something
do
else.
wish it were covered in chainsaws, though. Now
I
that
know.
You've said it
That'd
like
be awesome
that's
for like
That
ramming
that was the
stuff.
picture.
Yeah,
Cut through the
someone's
hole.
like making that game right now, and they heard that. They're like,
Someone's
all right,
like, yes.
I need
Chainsaws
to-
and
chainsaw
boats.
guns. Yes, cut the boats. It's the tagline: "Cut the boats." But the strongest points of the game were absolutely the fighting mechanics, which were great. Like all we had different weapons for every vehicle. They all came with different styles. It was like a classic car shoot 'em
See
up
that
game.
eventually you make it to Thailand. Very culturally.
Yeah, look at that.
Yeah,
There we go.
Very
It looks
inclusive.
good. And but really, for me, like when I ever think about it, I think of a map like that, the one that looks like Thailand, and it has like a setting sun, orange water, and
To
high
hide the blood.
waves. Yeah, and it was just like this really cool game that, again, like Trick Style, kind of appealed to my age. And I was
Right.
like, this is super cool. But it was. It's a great game, and I would love to play it again. And I've mentioned this in our favorite offline multiplayer games, how much I love games like Vigilante 8 and Twisted Metal.
Mm-hmm.
I still think games like that should be coming out, and I'm bummed that they're not. Is that a woman in her
No,
underwear?
No, it's,
C3PO,
C3PO
somehow made it into our
randomly.
blood wake. Search. I'm not sure how
Unlockable
he got
character.
in
Yeah,
there.
maybe so. So I'm really hoping. I don't know if they made a second one. I have no idea how popular this game was when it came out. That's why I'm kind of including it on my obscure games. Because for me, it was popular. But did they come out with a second one?
Blood Wake 2?
Did they?
Question mark?
Is it
Oh
coming
no,
out?
I don't think they did.
No.
I don't think
Nope.
they did.
There you go. It's obscure enough that it was not able to make a sequel. But it's one of those games that it was great. But again, I think it's obscure for a reason because it
Oh,
wasn't like
There's
amazing.
a petition. Petition. We want Blood Wake 2.
There you go. I should sign that petition. I'd be on there immediately.
Get that blood wake.
Yeah, it was a whenever I think of Blood Lake, I think about Twisted Metal. I think about Marble Blast Ultra. I don't know. I just think about these.
It's the kind of games that you played at that time. In your life.
And I love
exactly.
Twisted Metal, so if this was like that, we probably
You would like it. And there's that extra layer of like bouncing around on the waves. I know that's such a small factor, but that was so much fun.
Well, because
it really
normally
added the dynamic.
like if you're thinking of like, I remember playing a game that was
Like a
jet ski racing game
Oh,
on
yeah.
the N64, and like you just like went across the water. Like there was no bounce. And
It
stuff
wasn't
like
Wave
that.
Racer 64.
It might have been Wave
Might have
Racer
been.
64.
There's a map in Wave Racer that has some waves.
Quick
Yes, Mogan.
FYI, the petition got a total of 284 signatures.
That seems
so there are
pretty
at
obscure.
least
That's pretty obscure.
280, but
Four
their
people.
goal was only 250, so they exceeded
Oh, they
the goal.
made
Oh,
it. No,
well, there we
what's the
go.
description?
Bloodwake
Bloodwake
fans.
fans. I'm one of them. We all know that Bloodwake's a fantastic game. That's a great way to start it off.
We all know.
I'll state the obvious, but Bloodwake
Don't need to go into it
is
anymore
amazing.
than it's amazing.
It
so
is.
they should make
It's
a
a
second
great
one.
game. And I don't remember 2001. That must have been one of the like a opening game for Xbox. Might
Yeah.
have been one of the very very few first ones.
Still
I have no
testing the
idea.
waters
Oh,
as to what they could.
getting good with our puns.
I know, man.
I love it. But yeah, Bloodwake. So I had
What
to.
year was this petition?
Yeah, seriously.
2002.
It's like 2016. Sign up, Mogan. Support
Sign the petition.
your support.
What are the comments? Bloodwake sucks.
Bloodwake sucks. I'm just doing this because it's funny.
First.
Yeah. Well, Bloodwake. But yeah, so that's my number 2, Bloodwake.
Nice,
It's a
nice.
great game. And if you haven't played it, you probably won't. And, just know that it exists. That's all that I'm trying to do here. Spread the good word.
Good to know. It actually sounds very reminiscent. So you're talking about like Twisted Metal and the Vigilante 8 and stuff like that. It sounds also similar to Star Wars Demolition.
Is that your number 1?
No, it's not. It's just,
Good
segue.
it would have been a great segue, but no, it's another game. Which again, I don't really know how many other people played it, but it was basically like a Twisted Metal, but Star Wars.
Hey.
You would drive all the different ships and stuff. You'd shoot at each other. You'd run into each other. It was a ton of fun.
That
But
sounds fun.
it sounds similar to Bloodwake.
God, Star Wars. There's so many just different variations of that.
Hey man, it's a when you got a profitable
It's a
franchise like
religion,
that,
yeah.
you got to find the ways
You
to make
do.
the bank.
They
do.
need to make a Star Wars version of Animal Crossing. Are you kidding me? I would play
Yeah.
the bejesus out of that.
Well,
be
let's
Wookiees.
start a petition.
What are the little teddy bears and
Ewoks.
Ewoks.
Wookiees are much bigger.
Okay.
It's Chewbacca.
Nerd.
Look on my shelf and you will see Chewbacca.
Everything's
that is
fallen.
a Wookiee.
Yeah, dude, what's going on over here?
No,
Because
to our left is just a pile
I
of
took off
dead
the
action
mounted
figures.
TV up there.
It's
Oh,
great.
yeah.
They all look like they're shooting at the ceiling, like some horrible thing happened,
Yeah.
and like they didn't manage to shoot it out of the sky in time.
The Death Star.
Poor
They
Yeah,
couldn't-
sure.
They couldn't stop all the other
Except
stuff.
Darth Vader looks like he's on
That's
your
not
side.
Darth Vader.
Oh, who is that?
Oh my god.
That's a. I
It's
don't know,
black.
who is
I don't
that?
know.
It's a
at
tie.
a
It's a
distance.
Tie Fighter pilot.
Whatever.
High five,
God.
pilot. What's
So-
your number 1?
So yeah, before we go,
Oh,
into
yeah.
that, do you have?
I totally
No.
don't.
Okay,
I'm
and
not
that's
even
fine
ready.
because we are recording this episode in advance because next week is 4th of July and or the 4th of July week, and we're going to be very busy with celebrating holiday things. So we're recording this episode early, so it's kind
I
of hard
thought
to
things
know.
were
Early.
happening on other days.
It's kind of hard to know what the news is going to be before it happens. So we're just going to go with no news is good news.
Yeah,
and
everything's
move on to
fine.
our number one.
We should still do Dylan's rap.
yeah, just put it in there for funsies.
All right,
Well, that was good.
Yeah, it was
love
awesome.
that rap.
Yay.
It's always great to hear that again. So instead of the moment with Mogan, yes, we're going to go ahead and move
My
on
bad.
to our number ones. No, that's fine. I didn't expect you to have one today because
It's a
we were
miracle I managed to make this many notes.
Yeah, I'm just surprised I have a list.
we are definitely squeezing this recording session in pretty quickly to our last one. So yeah, there's that.
Excuse us.
We have to make sacrifices sometime to be able to still continue to deliver weekly fantastic episodes.
It's a promise for life. We
It's
said
a
it last
promise.
episode.
It's a promise.
Oh, what? Jeez.
Yeah,
I get-
last
oh,
episode.
You're right. I forgot. That's 2 weeks from now. I always forget.
So my number one is a more recent game. Came out in 2010, and it was made by a small independent Canadian studio.
It's all these Canadian studios, man.
And I'm assuming you say it Klei, Klei, Klei.
Klei. Clay.
I'm going to say Klei Entertainment.
Okay.
Now
But
it
like,
was developed by this, but then it was published by EA. So and it was released to like the
EA
Xbox
just
Live,
came over and said that's our game.
the
Oh,
Xbox
I'm
Live
sure.
Arcade and stuff like that. And this game is Shank.
Oh, yeah.
Shank.
Canadians, why would they do
Do you
this?
shank people?
Kind of, to an extent. It is a 2D
What's a
2D
kind
side.
of Shank?
Well, I mean, your main character, his name is Shank, and he holds like two knives that look very much like Shanks. So
I'm
it's
guessing
shank.
you do shank people.
So you shank a lot of people because it is described as genre as a 2D side scroller beat 'em up action game.
Oh, like Ninja Turtles or...
Actually, beat 'em up is the term they use to describe Oni. Like, I just didn't say it because I thought that no one would understand what that meant.
Beat 'em up. That's
we
a
go.
genre
Beat 'em
of
up.
gaming.
Yeah,
'em up.
apparently.
Or you just like bash people into oblivion, and that's
Yeah,
pretty much what
that's
happens
what I like to
with Shank. And this game was really fun, and they did make a sequel for it, Shank 2, which came out a couple years later, which I have and just haven't finished yet. Got those both on a good old Humble Bundle sale. Got some sweet Clay Entertainment games.
Very humble.
And anyway, so it's a very much has the look of like a comic book or a graphic novel, which is very like distinct black lines, makes everything look like very, very bold and kind of pops out, but it also has like a kind of a cartoonish feel to it.
Okay.
But don't let that fool you because it is incredibly violent.
Is this it?
That's it.
Oh, it looks good,
Let me
actually.
see.
Yeah, I forgot 2010. If you're going to make a game like this, it better, be pretty
Looks
artistically
nice.
impressive.
It's super fun, but it's also super gory.
Oh, I can already
Because
tell.
you basically will just run into hordes of guys, slashing away with your knives and any other weapons you can get your hands on, and you're like, the blood's gushing everywhere. It actually is it has a very much Kill Bill feel to it,
Oh, okay,
or theme
okay.
to it, because the whole idea is the main character Shank is seeking revenge on his old boss Caesar,
Caesar.
who
It's a very
was
villain-sounding name.
ran a criminal enterprise.
Naturally.
And
Is that him, Caesar?
let me see. No,
Oh, never mind.
that's one of the other. That's one of the other bosses
look at that one.
you run into.
You had chainsaw at some
Yeah, you
point?
get a chainsaw and stuff. So
Sweet.
you're just like
Okay.
hacking fools all over the place. You can get like guns and grenades and all this other stuff. It gets ridiculous and over the top. But anyway, so Caesar killed your girlfriend Eva,
Yeah.
What the fuck?
and so you're going on a pure revenge.
Yeah.
Blood-fueled revenge
think
trip is basically
so.
what this is. So you basically go through these different levels, chasing Caesar down, but you fight his
Minions.
his soldiers, his foot soldiers, and then also his other like generals and stuff. So
Oh, the term I was actually looking for was henchman.
Yeah.
There we go.
there we go.
Henchman. My bad.
Henchmen. Minions sound too nice now because of that stupid ass movie.
Oh,
I'll
shots
have you
fired.
know, I love the Minions.
Jarrett losing
Well,
listeners
you know what?
already.
I'm making fun of that.
How dare
You're
you,
wrong.
sir?
This looks like a game I would have played in my technology class in 7th grade behind my teacher's back. Like one of those online games that are
Yeah.
like stick figure shoot 'em up.
Yeah,
games.
pretty much.
It totally
I mean,
looks like that.
Well,
And
we
so-
all did in English class. Come on.
And so what's
Get your
funny is
laptops.
I'm just now realizing all three of these games I actually played on PC, not console.
Ah, there you go. The PC master.
Yeah.
race.
There we go. Man, didn't know that.
You are a PC
Actually,
you-
both of mine so far have been too. Because
Oh.
technically, Siberia was PC, and Oni, even though it's for PlayStation 2, it was also for PC, and that's
Yeah.
how we played it. PC. We'll
Look
just
at you
call
guys.
this
Look at
the
this coming out.
the
Oh.
PC
I guess
episode.
you guys are PC gamers.
But no, it was just really because the big thing about it, like I said, you just will like dive into a bunch of enemies who just come at you, and some will be armed with guns, some will be armed with melee weapons of some type, and you would just run in and you could hit a combination of buttons to make you like it would slow time down while you would jump up and then land on somebody and like implant your knives into his chest and then just like start hacking.
Nice.
And then somebody comes up from behind
Good image.
and you can like be still holding this guy down and turn around with your ranged weapon and like blast this dude who's coming at you, then go back to smashing this dude.
Unstoppable.
That is
No, there's some-
multitasking.
There is time manipulation in this game.
Just in that small amount where you do the
You know my feelings about
I
time.
know you love it, and it
how I
still
can
feels
manipulate
pretty
it.
great to do this leaping motion and then just like slamming into this
Yes,
dude with
yes,
your
I
knives.
can
It's
see
pretty
it.
awesome. It's pretty awesome. And then of course there would be some amount of destructible environment. You could shoot a gas can and it will blow up and kill some guys, or you can throw grenades, and then you can
just armed to the
find
teeth.
pretty much.
So there's no like passive mode that you can play in this game.
No, you're not going to be able to go
Greet,
without killing anyone.
make friends.
You have to kill people in this one. Sorry, Mogan. You'll have to let the Pikmin die.
Ugh,
Let the
that's
Pikmin die.
never cover my dead body.
We should make a shirt for me and Zach that
Yeah.
says "Let the Pikmin die."
No,
Yeah, let it
and
go.
I'll say save the Pikmin.
Exactly.
Pikmin.
And so we should really do that.
Yeah, we should.
That'd be
We need
cute.
shirts.
We need shirts.
Just in
Whenever we
general.
get our new logo and all that
you
stuff.
I wanna
guys'
have one
shirts can
for the
have the
Horde.
little Pikmin ghosts, and mine will have them living.
Pikmin
Oh my
Ghost. That would be a
God.
good shirt design.
Be a
Pick the
good shirt.
Pikmin Ghost.
Yeah, the
come
little
up-
I'm going to cut
ghosts.
this out so no one makes this before
People
we.
would be like, "What is that?" You'd be like, "Nothing."
You wish you knew,
You wish you
punk.
nerd.
You should listen to Team Chat Podcast episode
Yeah.
29.
We really haven't talked that in depth about Pikmin. Though.
I disagree.
I
I disagree.
that in depth about
I
Legend
could
of
talk
Dragoon.
more about
I
it.
don't think we should talk that in depth about
talk
The
about
Last
Disc
of Us
3.
yet. I could probably talk about it a
Yeah, I
little
think
bit
Halo
more.
2 hasn't been brought up enough either.
But anyway,
Can we do
so
an episode of like games we talk too much about or something?
Let's do.
it's like the
I
cover
still
art for
have
that.
so much
It's
more
like
to
The Last
say.
of Us, Legend of Dragoon, and Halo 2 art.
We're gonna
And
talk
people
about
just
some
like
more.
people just like, yeah, no,
No,
I'm
no.
gonna. In the words of Johnny Q, nah, pass. Nah, pass. But no, so Shank, it was just a really fun, over-the-top action game, and which really is where a lot of the fun came from it. The boss battles were very difficult. I remember fighting his one of the captains, one of the bosses, Cassandra. She has like a katana and all this stuff. She was
cool.
really quick
Nice.
with quick slashes and thrusts and stuff that you had to dodge and avoid. And so it just was really over the top, fun, gory gameplay. And
It
that's why I liked
looks
it.
like the kind of game that would do well on mobile. Was it?
Yeah, it does look
No,
like
it did not
could be
make
like-
it to mobile.
Oh, okay.
It was on, PC, Mac, and Microsoft, and like Xbox Live
okay.
Arcade and stuff like that. So no, I don't think it would make the jump. It did
Gotcha.
purely because you did have to push a lot of buttons. Like there were
Okay,
different
okay.
combinations to do the leaping attack. There
Gotcha.
were to do, you had to be able to like hold down your attack button and your melee button while pushing your range button. It had some crazy combinations of keys, but still over the top, gory fun, and it was
dig it.
a lot of
I
fun.
like those types of games. You know what game, and this is a little bit different, that has any of us played Braid? I know that's not even an obscure game, but I wish one of us had played that game.
I thought we
I thought
talked
you
about
had.
it. Yeah.
Unless
We
I
talked about it a
lied.
long time ago. I thought it came up.
I know it came
Maybe
up, and I
we
know
were just talking about the art style. Didn't it come up in?
I know a lot
Really,
about
did
it.
it?
We've brought it up a couple times, I feel like, because we might have talked about it in the art style. I also feel like we talked about a game that you were looking forward to. I think The Witness, I think, is made by the
Yeah.
same guy who made Braid.
Oh, okay.
And I think that's where it got brought up.
Because time manipulation's big in Braid.
Is it?
It is. You can reverse time, I
Well,
believe.
then why haven't you played it? If you love time
and
manipulation.
it's supposed to be great. I should play it, even though I know the twist at the end, and the twist is huge.
Okay, well, don't spoil it.
No
for
spoilers,
me.
please.
I won't. I
Oh,
won't.
you know what? I bet you can get that game on super cheap for Steam Summer Sale.
I bet you can.
I bet
work
you
for
can.
Steam
I do. That's my secret job.
or Valve or whoever handles that.
Yeah, Valve. But no, yeah, I haven't
God,
played,
I wish.
I haven't played Braid.
We'll play it.
I need to stockpile like smaller games like that I can slap on my
Yeah.
Vita, because I'm about to, in a few months, I'm going to make a long plane ride.
Do you ever see anybody else playing the Vita?
Just you, man. It's just you.
Jared said, like, no.
No, no, that's the big
Melancholy,
thing.
no.
Everyone knows, and like the big pushers, like Greg Miller and Colin Moriarty, the kind of funny guys, they play Vitas and they love the Vita, but like it's well accepted and they know it as well that there is basically no love for the Vita in Sony. Like they will every once in a while. Like that's why it was such a big deal that Drinkbox made Severed,
Oh, yeah.
because they came out and were like, hey, you guys all loved Guacamelee, which is also an amazing game. You guys should try to find and play. And
Title's great.
it's on Steam, just so you know. And
Sure, Mogan knew that.
so I've talked
did.
about it a
Thank
little
you
bit
very
before.
much.
But so they made this multi-platform game with Guacamelee, and then they said, hey,
How
after
can you
that,
say that with a straight face?
because I love it, you're a luchador in that game.
That's
so
great.
that's where the Guacamelee.
Yeah,
But and so they came after that game and they're like, you know what? We're not going to make it. We're going to make a game that only is coming for Vita. We're releasing it only for Vita. And now, of course, they're porting it to other
I
places.
was about
but
to say, that seems
the-
like a terrible marketing idea.
But it was really well received.
And it, visually speaking, you actually let me play it a little bit. It's an awesome looking
Oh,
game.
I love
like,
it.
It's
I still need
really
to. I need to
good.
finish it up, but it's fun.
Yeah.
But so no, it is widely known that there is really no love for the Vita.
That's
And
too
actually-
bad.
But I love it. I love the
There you
Vita.
go. There you go.
Isn't Gravity Rush for the Vita?
Most games,
Thought they
Gravity Rush. Is that a? Remind me what that one is.
Gravity Rush is like that really cool looking game
It might
where
be.
you're like this girl with like kind of long whitish blonde hair.
It's a Japanese game,
and
right?
she, I think maybe, and
I
you
think,
can
or
like
at least
fly
anime
around,
influence. Oh, I know what you're talking
and
about.
Yeah, it's
It
really
might
cool
be.
looking.
Let's
and
look
they're
that up.
coming out with Gravity Rush 2 this year, aren't they?
Yes.
and it's like a big deal.
That might be
It's
what
gonna
I'm
be
thinking
super
of.
cool.
I don't know.
Zach,
I don't
shut
know
up.
what y'all are
No one
saying.
asked you.
I actually am playing it.
Go back to
I'm
your
actually
Xbox.
playing the
Go
first
play Uncharted again.
the first JRPG that I've ever played. I'm playing it on the Vita right now.
Is it The Legend of Dragoon, which
It
they
is-
totally put on the Vita?
There
It
you
is-
go.
It is not. I should get
No
Legend of
excuse,
Dragoon for my,
Jerrett. No
for my
excuse.
plane
How
ride
dare you
to.
play other JRPGs?
I should get that. I should
You
get Legend of
should.
You're
Dragoon
gonna
though
play
for
it
my.
for like 20 minutes. Be like, I don't want to play this.
That
And then
is
you're gonna have to tell
that
Mogan
is
that,
possible.
and you're gonna dread
I'm
that
gonna
conversation.
punch you in the face.
But I
That's
should
gonna
I should
happen.
get it to play on the plane to Europe when I go. later this
TCP
year.
disbanded.
Oh, you're playing to Europe. Your
Yes.
private jet.
My private
Just like
jet,
Team
first
Chat
class.
podcast on the wing.
It will.
It will one
It
day.
will. But no, the game that I'm playing is called Freedom Wars, which actually got a lot of
It doesn't
attention.
even sound like a real game.
It was fun. It's pretty fun. I'm still playing
Talk
that.
about
One.
Valiant Hearts again.
But yeah, let's bring up all these old games. Okay, so Mogan, what's your number one?
Oh, I
Save
wasn't
us.
ready. You can't just lead it.
We were
Save
going
us.
on so many
That
rabbit
actually
trails.
is a really good lead
That is
though, because
my role to like.
mine
no,
is
stop.
actually a JRPG.
Oh,
Okay.
Which
Well, there we go.
usually the vast majority of JRPGs that I've played in my day are all from Sony. They're either on our Final Fantasy VII demo that we had on PC way back in the day, but then later we did eventually get the game for PlayStation, and really most of the JRPGs I've ever encountered have pretty much exclusively been for PlayStation. Like, if they ever were, because they're mostly Square Enix.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Square Enix kind of mostly stays in the Sony realm.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
this one would have been Batten Kaitos.
Never heard of it.
No,
I think
nope,
there was
nope.
more to the title than that. It was like something about an ocean, like eternal something.
Star
and
Ocean?
lost-
Sure, it was something
No,
like
it wasn't
that.
Star Ocean, but it was similar. Also-
Gravity Rush is on for the
also,
Vita. I
okay,
found that
that's
out.
what I
Sorry.
thought. Okay, so Batten Kaitos, shockingly enough, for the GameCube. And so this is actually a really interesting thing that has kind of become more of a big deal in recent years. Batten Kaitos was made by Monolith Soft.
Monolith.
Monolith
Should I know
Soft
that developer?
is
feel like
now working in conjunction with Nintendo, shockingly, on Breath of the Wild.
Ah,
The Zelda game?
Monolith Soft is helping out with Breath of the Wild.
Wow.
But before that, the other one that most Nintendo fans would know them for is Xenoblade.
okay.
Oh, I've heard of that.
Yeah, so they did Xenoblade. Now they're helping with Breath of the Wild. And
Wow.
as it turns out, a way long time ago, I think this would have been 2004? 2002 to 2004.
Sound confident?
Yeah, don't quote me on that. So right around there is when they came out with Batten Kaitos. And it really has as far as I know, a tiny cult following. I had almost completely forgotten about it, except that here just in the past few months, one of my Tumblr friends, because I'm on Tumblr, was like, how come nobody knows about Batten Kaitos? And I was like, wait,
You're
that
like,
sounds familiar. So I think I've played that game.
I know about Batten
But
Kaitos.
it was a long, I think we rented it. I think this was a game that I rented from Blockbuster.
Oh man.
So I am almost positive that I did not finish it because who can play that much of a game in a week?
You just don't return it.
You just don't
and
return.
wait for them to go out of
Wait
business.
for them to go out of business.
Everyone
You
saw
have
that
free
coming.
games.
Yeah.
So Batten Kaitos for the GameCube, it was a classic JRPG in that it was a very anime style. But in that same breath, it was very, for the time span, if you actually look up some of the cutscenes and even just the overall look of the game, it did really well for its time period. Like, it was very visually, maybe not advanced, but it was very visually stunning. Like, it really popped. When you saw the game art for Batten Kaitos, you were like, oh, that looks interesting. I wonder what this game is about. So in terms of what it's actually about is...
Google couldn't even recognize. I must have misspelled that so bad. They couldn't even
It's
I had no idea.
BATEN and then KAITOS. Batten Kaitos.
Oh, I see. God, I butchered that. Google like nothing. Not even a suggestion.
Sorry, no results matched your
This is
search.
obscure.
Jeez, that's
So
embarrassing.
obscure. So yeah, so
Oh,
you...
look at the cover art.
Isn't it cool? Isn't it a cool looking game?
Rarely do I see purple.
Yeah.
That color on.
So
a, on a
it
game
matched
cover.
the
Yeah.
GameCube overall in terms of visuals very,
Yeah.
very well. Because like GameCube's logo is purple, Batten Kaitos very, very
Oh,
purple.
did you already say the name under the title?
No, so what's the whole
It's
thing?
Eternal Wings and the Lost Ocean.
Eternal Wings and the
It
Lost
did have something to do with the notion.
Ocean.
The
So
Eternal
I was
Wings and
almost
the Lost
right.
Ocean.
So to give you a bit more
can an
background
ocean
on
be lost?
both of
But
those
go
things.
ahead.
No, I'm
Go
getting
ahead.
to it, you scumbag.
Oh wow! Look at this image. Oh,
Yeah,
that's
oh
great.
no, let me see that one.
looks
Because
awesome. Looks like a walrus
oh
beast.
yes. So actually so you'll notice that almost every player in that frame has wings. So the whole idea
Mm-hmm.
of Batten Kaitos is a lot of people would argue that Batten Kaitos takes place in an alternate future of Earth, in which, for whatever reason, I can't remember what the reason was in-game, but I think that all of the oceans have evaporated.
Wow.
And so now humanity lives on floating islands in the sky. So I think that the vast majority of the game takes place on these floating islands in the sky, but you are basically above what used to be Earth. And you technically are not any one particular character in your party. You are actually a guardian spirit. So the whole game starts where I think you're this guardian spirit, and like he or she or it has lost all of its memories, pretty sure. And the main protagonist comes to you. His name is Kalas. Kalas. I say names my own way. Everybody else can suck it. So Kalas, he comes to you and he's like, hey, guardian spirit, I need some help with some stuff. And that's all I gathered from that portion. I was like, sure, whatever, I'll help you. And his friend, I think her name is Zella, but it's with an X.
Jesus.
Yeah, it sounds about right.
Christ. This is like Serbia all
Yeah,
over
yeah,
again.
it's
Siberia.
like, okay,
back up.
Thank you very
Siberia.
much, Serbia.
Back up.
The child of Siberia. No, so you play as Kalas and primarily Zella. They're kind of your two main party characters.
Okay.
And everyone in these sky islands has evolved wings. So the whole thing is that everyone can kind of fly now, except for poor Kalas. I think at one point he lost one of his wings.
Well, is he the on the cover?
Yeah, he's the guy
got a
on the cover.
mechanical wing.
So one
It
of them
looks
is
cool.
mechanical.
Yeah,
so like
that's actually
he's
badass.
he's awesome. And so, okay, major spoilers ahead. I remember enough of the game to have gotten to the big twist, which is where you are progressing through as Kalas, the guardian spirit, Zealous, and all their other various party games, and party characters. What did I say?
Party games.
Party characters, all the
Mario
other people
Party?
in your party. I don't know.
That's what I thought of.
So you're progressing through kind of on your quest to what you believe is to save the world, but as it turns out, kind of halfway through, it is revealed that Kalas, your main guy, is totally the bad guy. He's the antagonist. He
That is a
turns on
spoiler.
you. And as
Damn.
it turns out, I said spoiler alert.
did.
I said
You
it.
did.
And
And
That would
as
be
it
that
turns out,
spoilerific.
he was working for the bad guys all along to do this thing where they revive the End Magnus.
I can't believe you remember
And
all
the
this.
End Magnus.
know.
It's amazing.
I feel
I
like
had
I
to
play
do-
games like when I was talking about The Order, which is a game I just finished, and I was still like,
remember any
what
of it.
happened?
I had to do a lot of research to like refresh my memory about it because all I really remembered were images.
You speak about it with such confidence.
Yeah,
Yes,
so the
seriously.
actual story really did not sink in because it would have been around that same time period where nothing was sinking in and I was just playing games
Sure.
and having a blast.
Yeah.
Like Super Monkey Ball.
All these details.
Yeah,
Super Monkey
that's
Balls?
an awesome game.
Is that what you said?
Yeah, Super
it's a
Monkey
great-
Ball 2. It's a great GameCube
great
game. But we're talking about Batten Kaitos. So the big clincher about Batten Kaitos, and one of the things that I remember the most, is that the actual gameplay and the fighting system was wild. It was like a card-based strategy game, but it was also turn-based fighting. But you would use your cards, like you would build a deck.
That's pretty cool.
And like it was, I remember being bad at it, definitely. But like your
No doubt. If I
there's
can't
no
remember,
doubt I was
but definitely that.
definitely bad at it. But like your cards had like a function, not just in battle, but in the outside world at large. So like things that you would attach to the cards could do stuff in game and then do other stuff out in the regular world. And like you could just pick crap up in the regular world, like flowers of all things. And you'd be like, oh, you want to attach these to one of your cards? And I'd be like, sure, that sounds like a great idea.
If it's possible, I'll do it.
But then further down the line, be like, oh, your flower wilted. Now your card doesn't work the same. And I'd be like, what do you mean the flower wilted? What? This is some
Yeah.
horse apples right here.
Why did no one water the flower?
Yeah.
Why
So
didn't you ask me to
there
water
were
the
a
flower?
lot of elements to the game that I didn't have the mental capacity to really grasp at the time. So I'm sure I was playing it wrong. But if you can manage to get through my crazy piece together explanation of the game, it's awesome. And I think that, no, it was probably only for GameCube. I'm sure they didn't put it on anything else. But if you recall, the Wii, the original Wii, is backwards compatible with GameCube games.
That's true.
So if
That is
anybody
true.
still has their old Wii laying around, and you can find Batten Kaitos for under $100, which it's kind of a collector's item now. So
is it
you may not
pricey?
be able to.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, I was about to say, I was
come
like,
on.
that seems
It
a
might
little
not be.
steep.
It might not be, but it feels like when I've looked it up
Let's see.
before, it was hard to find.
Kaitos.
Like maybe you can find it in
for
a
sale.
used
Yeah,
used
for
game store.
sale.
How much
shopping,
is it?
Shopping. I'm going
Shopping.
shopping.
Yeah.
Ooh, wow, 115.
Oh, wait, so
Whoa.
I wasn't wrong.
No.
That's surprising.
That's how obscure it
Wow,
is.
123.
Boom.
Wow, 71.
I knew it.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's expensive.
Cool.
It's an
$89?
expensive game. I mean, in that same vein, have you ever gone back and tried to buy Mario Sunshine?
No.
It's so freaking expensive.
Trying to
Why
buy
is
like
that?
Mario,
A
like
lot
any
of
of those.
old GameCube games are really pricey now.
Really?
Because like they've just become these huge collectors things that
yeah.
like only real GameCube people would
190.
understand.
Brand new.
$250.
Oh,
What?
they must have a
What?
sealed copy. They've got
Yeah,
to have
this
a
is
sealed
a
copy.
not for resale GameCube original.
Whatever.
Damn.
So the point is, it's awesome, and people who have played it love it, love it, love it. And if I could afford it, I would love to go back and play it again. But God knows, I'm not spending that much money on
No.
a GameCube game.
Yeah.
I have to
Considering you
save
can
up.
buy a GameCube for like $20
We
somewhere.
totally still have our original family GameCube.
Nice.
Yeah. Boom.
Family that games
So, yeah.
together stays together.
It's my
Now
number
I'm
one.
looking up most expensive video games.
Is Bat and Kaitos number one?
No, Little Samson, Nintendo Entertainment System, $1,500.
What in the
Wow.
hell?
Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time Gold Collector's Edition.
Boom.
It's only $55 here.
Oh.
Mega Man X3 for SNES,
Oh,
$1,200.
X4 is the best one.
Yeah.
Boo.
1200.
Wow, look at this. Spyro the Dragon. No, that's not
We still
expensive.
have our Spyro.
Wow, you get lost down here. Pokemon Stadium. Ooh,
You're getting lost.
that should be my number one. But that's not that
We've
obscure.
talked about it before.
Yeah, we have, haven't we?
Yeah.
When did we talk about Pokemon Stadium?
I don't remember, but you like explained it a lot.
Did I really?
No, wait, that was Pokemon Snap. My bad.
yes,
bad.
yeah.
Okay, we
Talk about
should talk about Pokemon
We'll
Stadium.
hold off
We'll
on that.
save
Maybe we'll
it.
do a Pokemon
We'll do the
episode.
Pokemon
and
episode.
We'll put a curtain
Pokesode.
over Jared's mic.
Yeah, I'll just be here to just make sure time limits.
Smash,
You guys are,
Smash doesn't count.
I can talk only in my experience with Smash.
That's like when we talk about Zelda.
And
Jared's
playing-
like, I played Zelda and Smash.
And
or
playing
Link.
and Smash. I played some Ocarina of Time.
I'm not
Just
sure
throwing
I
it out
believe
there.
you.
I
That
haven't played
sounds like a
Ocarina.
lie.
I played
I've
the
only played
first few-
Twilight Princess. I
And
admit.
it counts. If you've only
Because it's
played
great.
Twilight Princess, it counts.
It's amazing.
So anyway,
Anyways,
Zach,
my number one.
what is your number one? Bring us home.
So a trailer for this game came out back in probably 2002 because this game was released in 2003 again for the Xbox.
What a surprise! Shock and awe.
Shocker! Wow, really interesting gamer, Zach. Just Microsoft fanboy. No, that's not true.
It's what you had. It's what you had. You played what you had.
Yes. Twas the past. But a trailer came out for this game on a disc that I want to say it had the Halo 2 trailer and this game trailer and probably some other things. It was like a side disc that came out for another game. I don't even remember when games developers used to do this, but they used to like
Well, it's before YouTube, so
yeah, it was exactly. So they'd send like you a DVD in the mail, and I watched this trailer hundreds of times. I don't know why. I was like obsessed with it, and my friend was like, "I don't want to watch it again." I was like, "Play it back," and let's watch the Halo 2 trailer. I love trailers. I just love hype and anticipation. It's really cool.
Oh, yeah.
and especially it was awesome. And so this game, it's a third-person shooter. And actually, Mogan, what you were saying about
I was about to say, is this Oni? Are we talking about? Did they put her on Xbox?
what you were saying about the last game, like how it's team, but you weren't any of the characters. I almost thought, I was like, oh my gosh, this is actually just like this game. So the trailer introduced 4 different characters. It's third-person shooter. They all come from different parts of the universe, I think. It takes place in like 2335. It's like 300 years in the future.
That sounds like Oni.
Yeah,
2032.
there you go. And human civilization has like gone out to other planets, and there's some backstory there about how we inhabit these other planets, and we have to guard. Basically, these 4 characters belong to a troop that like our defense. If bad aliens come to a planet, they have to go and take them out or something like that, and that's what happens in the game. You gotta go out to this planet. There's a evil alien race, which I don't remember, and I even looked up images were that memorable. They all look kind of the same. It's not like the Covenant from Halo.
I was about
Right.
to say, I think you mean the Covenant.
You're talking about the Covenant, actually. They don't have any, to me at least, any really interesting of qualities. But I could just be remembering incorrectly. But that's how I see it, and so I'm right. And the 4 characters, there was a dinosaur, which is interesting.
What?
like a
Excuse me.
ray?
Like a
What kind of
raptor?
Oh, what?
It's like a green raptor-esque dinosaur.
Can I be a long neck?
Yeah,
this is not the land before time.
And then the other 3 were humans.
Okay.
So
sorry.
only one dinosaur?
I spoiled the best one first. But the game's called Brute Force. You ever heard of it?
No.
No.
God, no.
Yeah. Just wrap it up, Zach.
Just
Can we skip this one?
continue.
So what is brute force? Because no,
Tell us
So Brute
more.
Force, third-person shooter, 4 people. You got Brutus. I'm going to probably look this up. I don't even remember.
Is that what the game is named for? Brutus? Brutus
I
Force?
don't think so. Brutus is
saying
just
it wrong?
one of the characters. Let me see here.
Just coincidentally happen
I
to
had a
have a
friend with
name
a
very
dog
similar
named
to the
Brutus.
title.
So there's Tex
cool
and Brutus.
dog.
Et tu, Brute.
Tex is like a... Oh, yeah, et tu. Tex is... got 2 chain guns.
Of course.
Of
Hell
course.
yeah.
And he's like super American butch dude, like really stereotyped
McCree.
white guy, just like, I'm
It's
here to
high
save the
noon.
world.
Is it high noon in
It's
space?
high noon. Brutus is the green scaly raptor dinosaur.
Okay.
And he's super cool. He was my favorite,
Now,
obviously.
does he look like a legit raptor, or is he kind of humanoid?
Do you want to see the...
Yeah,
I want
show
to
it
see some.
me.
I want to see some images.
That's the cover art. So
I recognize
okay.
this.
recognize. So Brutus
I
is on the
remember
left.
seeing this in probably Blockbuster, and I
Probably
was
so.
like, that looks
It's probably not even
stupid.
that obscure, to be honest. Dangerous alone, deadly together. That's the tagline. Pretty good.
God.
So we got Brutus right there. Tex in the back. See his 2 chain guns?
Yep.
Yeah.
Looks like Flint. That's the sniper. She's great.
Badass
Awesome.
And
name.
I don't know if I remember the redhead name. Hawk.
Those are cool names. Flint and Hawk.
Flint, Hawk.
I'm on
Tex,
board
and
with
Brutus.
that.
And Hawk is the stealth character.
Okay.
And so remember when I was mentioning that game, Full Spectrum Warrior?
Yes.
It's like it's not exactly the same, but you could switch from character to character in real time, which I
Okay.
thought was super cool. So basically,
Yeah.
the whole point of the game is not it's a shooter where just go in there, you're one person, the other 3 AI characters will help you out. It is you as a sniper first must go up this tower, get in position, and when you get off of her and go to maybe Brutus, who's the dinosaur, she'll be like an AI character, and you have her set up there. You know what I mean? It's
So
almost
once
like
you
a real
switch
time
It's a,
off
strategy.
of
it's a
them.
tactical based.
It's a
Okay.
tactical based shooter.
Okay.
It is. And what I loved about it and what I hadn't seen before is the ability to switch characters like that. And so to be able to go up as Flint, get in a sniping position, or just snipe as her, and then go to Brutus, and he had this like night vision and like this charge mode, so you could activate that. I don't even know if you had you probably like power it up in some way, and you could like run in like just start mowing people down, or like I think you like bite them or something. I don't know.
Nice.
Get them in the
Use those
ankles.
raptors.
I better
Yeah.
be a dinosaur for a reason.
I actually think the animations were not that great. The guy, he kind of like just like did like what you did like at a football game, like the wave, you know, and like the character would flip. I don't know. It was something that I don't think was that great. And or you could go in as Hawk and be invisible. But basically, you're running through these different maps and you're completing these missions because this alien race who is evil is trying to take over this planet, and you're assigned to defend it. You're a part of some defense group. I don't remember the name. Probably not that interesting.
Wait, are you part of the brute force?
Is it brute force?
That's probably totally. I'm calling it, man.
I don't know if
that
it's
is
brute
what
force.
they're called.
I don't think it's called
I
that.
am correct about
I
that.
don't
Scroll
think
down.
so.
Yeah, let's see. Let's see what it says. I'm definitely right.
I'm
I'm always right about everything.
Plot.
That could be disputed.
Shut up, Jerrett.
Those are the worlds. They patrol. Oh, no. The Confed.
Oh,
Confed?
Well, that's the short term. Confederation of
Okay.
Allied.
Oh, okay.
So there you
whatever.
go. Should be brute force.
Yeah, I was correct.
And
They
Stand-
use brute
I
force.
they
stand
use brute
by.
force. So Tex and Brutus specifically, those are like your main people. Or those are like the guys that run in there and just don't even have any kind of like delicacy with whatever they do. They're
Right.
loud and annoying. Flint and Hawk, way cooler. I was them way more often.
Because
except
you
for
love that
Brutus.
stealth.
I love stealth. The fact that I could go invisible was that's it. You got me. I'm gonna play. And sniping. I love sniping too. So using those characters was great. But you would go to different worlds too. I remember there's one planet that you go to, actually like Brutus's planet, for example, and you have to basically all the enemies are Brutus. They're like the Raptors except
No.
red.
No.
And so yeah, they had
Kill
those
his own
moves.
people.
I know. So they had kind of his moves, and you'd have to adjust your strategy to that. It was a fairly strategic game.
Did he have qualms about killing his own?
I don't think so.
No, because he was purified by the power of good. and
Yeah,
that's why
he also
he's
had like a brown
green.
diaper on. It wasn't a diaper, but
Can't have raptor genitalia just hanging out everywhere.
exactly,
in the game.
exactly. They couldn't figure out how to do
I mean,
it.
it was
think
rated M, but I mean,
it's
still,
more like a loincloth.
there are limits.
Yeah, I'll show you guys like a screenshot here of what it kind of maybe looks like. Oh wow, this brings me back. Let's see here. There's Brutus. Okay, so he's got like a.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
You
okay.
know, it's
like
a little-
shorts.
He
it's
looks
like
way
Tarzan.
less raptorish than I was expecting. I was thinking of a much more realistic raptor.
Oh yeah.
I would call him a lizard man.
Yeah, he's a lizard man.
He's a lizard
Raptors.
person.
Oh yeah, Raptor's not that accurate actually. But
Raptor man. How about
Raptor
that?
Man.
Whatever.
he looks like that. What's that old N64 game character? Gex, Secret Agent Gecko.
Gex!
It's just like looks.
We need to
it's-
talk. Bro Mogan
it's
could
Gex-
talk
it's Gex
your
on steroids.
ear off about Gex.
Is he a fan?
Oh, he loves Gex. Are you kidding me? That was
kidding me?
his entire childhood.
I don't even know what that is.
He was
actually.
obsessed.
Well, there we go. Should have been an
Gex.
obscure
There's that.
game.
He was like the James Bond of
Yes,
lizards.
So he after he quit that agency, he just joined up with the Confed.
He joined up with the brute force, got on
and
roids,
got on roids, became Brutus.
bulked up.
Wow, I
yeah.
wish the game looked like that. That's must be a nice rendition of it.
Yeah,
That is not
like some
what the
fan
game
art
looks
or
like.
something.
Yeah, that looks great. But brute force. I'm sure some people have played it. It's a great game. I actually think it was one of the games that it's obscure and it wasn't bad. You know,
Yeah.
I actually liked it. I think it got decent reviews. It was cool. Watching a trailer for it, it did not age well. The graphics are pretty bad.
Yeah.
Don't think they look that great.
Oh, I think one of the biggest hits that Batten Kaitos had about it was that the voice acting was very overdone.
terrible.
And like the graphics may have aged well, but the voice acting did not.
That's kind of how I feel about like those late 90s, early 2000s games.
Yeah, like
they're
they
kind of like that
hadn't
awkward
quite-
period of growing out your hair when it's not quite
What
long.
a great analogy.
They just
It's short and
hadn't
it just
quite-
looks messy.
But
Yeah.
but the problem, they're really stretching to to make it look great. And
Right.
they did as much as they could, but you're right. They should have
Yeah.
just
There's that
waited.
awkward period where you're just like the technology, where it's just like I can't do anything
They
with
just
this. So I'm
weren't
doing the best I
quite at
can.
it yet.
No,
they just
no.
hadn't hit
Yeah,
it.
yeah, they were in like mullets.
Brute force fell in that territory. Unfortunately, I think
Yeah,
they're just like mullets. It's true. It's true. It's an awkward phase.
Brute force,
an awkward
smallest of the
time.
gaming world.
Yeah.
but ladies and gentlemen, that has concluded our list of obscure games.
Here's
Hopefully they
another
were obscure.
episode.
Hopefully they are obscure.
I don't know what we're talking
You know,
about.
we'll see. They were obscure to us, and that's what counts
That
because
is
we're the
what
ones
counts.
talking. But I mean, if you've heard of these games, if you had experiences in these games, let us know what they were. Also, let us know some other games that you may have played that you think would fall into
should
the
have talked
obscure.
Bro Mogan needs to write in
category.
about Gex. He
Yeah,
could tell
that
us
sounds
all about it.
Obscure.
Well, yeah,
Gex.
Bro Mogan, give us a rundown of Gex.
Hey, you should let them know that you just sent him a friend request.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
I sent you a
yeah.
friend request on PSN.
He's totally
just
passive
do-do-do.
aggressively not going to add you now. That's the
Yeah.
kind of personality
Yeah.
he
I
has.
I saw Jerrett playing Overwatch.
But he plays Overwatch. And I need more people to play Overwatch with me.
I saw Jerrett using Hanzo. It wasn't a
He's a
pretty
really
sight.
no. My bro's a really
Today's
good.
an off day.
He's a
I'm
good
not gonna lie.
Zenyatta. He'll protect you.
But what you're not talking about though is how I got a four
that's true.
kill with Deadeye as McCree.
Yeah.
Got the trophy.
McCree.
I saw the clip. It was
Yeah.
good.
I showed you the clip to rub it in your face.
It was real. It was real. I didn't want to say this, but I've done that before.
Damn it!
I just didn't want to say it.
I was so mad.
I did on Ilios.
Some Torbjorn got play of the
That should be
game
a curse word.
on the back of my Gravitron pulse or whatever. Like whatever Zarya's black
Oh, the
hole
gravity-
is.
the gravity
Yeah, there we go. Like I totally
that's a good
saved us,
support.
but he got all the credit, and I was like, lame.
That is
done
lame.
with
That
this.
sucks.
Torbjorn's just pressing.
That was my play, you scumbag.
That should be a curse word.
Yeah.
That Torbjorn.
That Torbjorn.
That Torbjorn.
Becomes our generation's new fuck.
Yeah. Yeah. Like,
Torbjorn.
Torbjorn.
Bjorn it.
Give me a Torbjorn break.
But yes, please let us know any questions or comments or some games that you think are obscure. Email us at teamchatpodcast@gmail.com. Find us on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. But until next time, this has been Team Chat Podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Jerrett Wilson, joined by Rachel Mogan
Good night.
and Zachary Parks. They could listen to this in the morning.
Good morning.
Topics.
Nah.
And Zachary Parks.
Peace out.
See y'all next time.